Do you know where the chat is for this? Maybe I'm not looking at it
It should
properly.
just be under my webcam in stream.
The stream chat.
Okay, I think for whatever reason my microphone got disabled, but y'all should be able to hear me now, right? Let me know. Sorry, I have like 30-second stream delay on. I don't know why I haven't turned it off yet, but I keep forgetting to. Cause
It's because you're trying to play games, man.
oh,
Leaving
dude,
your games.
yeah, dude, it's been a crazy day today. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Feud. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and give my spiel real quick because you didn't hear the first time, or the chat didn't at least hear it the first time. This is BilgeWater Market. He is one of the biggest vendors in Riftbound currently. His website is linked down below in the description, so if you want to go ahead and take a look, if you're like looking for his high end stuff, if you're looking for any of these slabs, go ahead, take a look at it. I highly recommend him. So, but for today, I have some questions. We're going to take some questions from chat for the most part. And if you're down to just answer whatever you feel comfortable answering, I say we go for it if that
Yeah.
sounds good to you. So, I guess like my first question for you for today is just kind of like what got you into Riftbound? Like I know there's a lot of big markets out there right now with, One Piece, Pokemon. Why was Riftbound the thing you chose?
Yeah. So I've basically been playing League since 2010 when it first came out. So I've been a day one League player. I've loved every character. I think my first game ever was when Brand came out.
Okay.
So it's more of like nostalgia, childhood, right? Like grew up with League. TFT came out. I played
Mm,
that. Valorant. I'm just a huge Riot fan since day one. Believed in them. Went to all their worlds and such. And so I actually did start with One Piece when it first came out, but the at one point while just collecting One Piece and enjoying it, I just got bored. For me personally, it just felt like I was opening the same exact card. Um, there was really not much fun in ripping when
yeah.
it came to One Piece back in the day. So when Riftbound came out, I also played One Piece. I had fun playing the game, and then the meta became a little toxic when Sakazuki was out, and you know, I think anyone that played One Piece when Yellow and L was a thing, it was a nightmare. I basically got out of it when Gecko was around too, and
Okay.
then I took a break and just did other things. When Riftbound was announced, I did keep my eye on it, but I was just more of like just looking at it to see how it would do. Didn't know too much about it, and then I'd say around like December, January. So December last year, January 1st Origins came out. My friend who was playing it, just invited
Mm,
me to play just a game, just to try it out. And I fell in love. I think the game
okay.
is very difficult to pick up right away, but is very rewarding for the plays you make. If anyone hasn't played it, essentially, you every play you make dictates just pretty much the whole game. It's a very tempo oriented game. I personally believe that if you win because you're just the better player. And if you lose, it's because you made a mistake and you did something that caused it rather than other card games where you could just blame the deck, right? You could just be like,
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
didn't top deck or anything like that.
Or I
So I
just
fell in
played a
love
hard
there.
counter or something like that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And even like current decks, meta wise, we'll talk about that later, but it's like I think meta wise, every deck is viable as long as you as a player understand how to play the game fundamentally correct.
Hmm.
And so that's how I just fell in love with the game.
That's awesome. I know for me, like I share an experience obviously in like Pokemon regard, where I've fallen in love with the game. So I completely get that. The Riftbound, for just like in general, I feel like has done extremely well in such a short amount of time. Uh, it seems like it's gone
It's
kind of
gone nuclear.
ballistic. It's gone nuclear, and it's so crazy to me that just like 4 months ago, me and you sat at a booth at the Dallas Card Show and just rambled on about Riftbound cards. And you pointed out a few things and told me things that I didn't know. And I just thought you were super knowledgeable, and I respected that. And it's awesome to see that you were a player first. So that's really cool to see. Obviously, that's your background on Riftbound and like how you got into it. Where do you see like the future of Riftbound being? I know there's a lot of people talking about it as like a Magic the Gathering killer. Like people, there's a lot of Magic players potentially moving over there. How do you see the game's future viability?
I think this game is gonna be one to last for decades. Riot Games as a company is really good at making sure whatever games they go in on, they do everything in their power to make sure it succeeds. And so being backed by a company like Riot puts a lot of confidence into Riftbound for me. I think this game, a lot of people have told me like they think it'll be top two, potentially like number one, TCG uh, in the future. I could believe that because there is so much potential for it. I personally think it'll definitely be like top three at some point in its life. But again, just I guess anything could happen. I just have full faith in it. I have full faith in Riot. They're doing everything correctly since the launch of Riftbound, and they haven't stopped doing everything correctly from my perspective. I mean, I think people have seen all the cool things that are coming out, the state of the games that they
Yeah.
do twice a year. Like, not many other card games really announce their plans for their game for the rest of the year. I think Magic does that. I could be wrong, but when you have a game that already gives you the heads up for the year, you know that they're actually thinking about it. And I think even the devs come from Magic and other games like that. So they're one big thing also based off of the recent state of the game is they're actually listening. There's been a lot of players that have had questions about card text and just rulings and a lot of things that can be confusing for players. Riot's answered everything. So far to this day, they always answer everything, and they figure something out almost all the time.
Yeah, they seem to be doing like they have a pretty solid playbook. It seems like they kind of learned from was it Riff it was the Wild I can't remember what it's called. Their
Oh, the
previous
Legends of Runeterra.
Legends of Runeterra, thank you. It seems like
Yeah.
they're kind of learning from the failures of that and just obviously
Yes.
transporting it into the physical card game. Like there's definitely things that they've done that one like they have rare chase cards, right? That's like a huge thing so far.
Yep.
That's helped a ton. They seem to be listening to players, which is why I think it will have sustainability even if like the collector scene dries up. It seems like the player base is growing. The regionals are doing good and things like that. Like I think set 2 is Spirit Forge. There was like a Draven controversy. Like Draven was like all the top 8 at a regional or something
Oh
like
my
that.
god, dude,
Was
that guy,
that
that
was
guy
that a
was.
problem? And
Yeah,
they
Draven
just
was a big terror.
yeah, they just banned him. They were like, "Okay, we messed up on releasing this card. We're just going to ban him." So it's really awesome to see that
Yeah.
they're already like listening to the players, listening to feedback. They're already changing. Like one of the big complaints people have said, besides obviously the reprints, but I think the reprints are a good thing, all things considered. It's just the
Yes.
opening experience with like people get upset with like pulling legend cards in their uncommon and like rare spot, and they're changing that. That's now going to be like a common spot, which is awesome to
Yep.
see. So I think Riot is taking the right approach right now to the game. They're very much hands on in the right way. Where like a company like I don't know, One Piece seems very pulled back. Like Bandai has so many card games that they're just like kind of whatever, and it's I think that's kind of led to a lot of the problems in One Piece is because they're so laid back. Riftbound is like
Exactly.
pushing forward and just pushing support for one players and collectors, which is what you should do. And they've just kind of done everything I think they're supposed to at this point. I
Yeah.
did want to ask you how you feel about like the current tournament scene with like best ofs and prize wall cards because you'd probably be more knowledgeable in that than I would.
Yeah, I think they're doing a really good uh w- way of making these best ofs and prize walls. I think one thing that I think they should address next year, hopefully,
Hmm.
is comparative to One Piece. If you top 64 and you're not getting your best of, you essentially just get nothing, which
Oh
feels
wow.
really bad for
Mm,
players that do well, right?
yeah.
You So right now, Riot's current season of competitive play is you either play for your best of, or you're just a really good player that is trying to win, right?
Hmm.
It has to be one or the other. So that's why it's a little. I think a lot of players have a little bit of um, they're not too happy about that. But one good thing about the best of system that I like is it essentially is it allows you to just play whatever legend
Yeah.
right? I think during its time, every legend was represented, every single regionals, hands down. It was really good for that, where you have variety
Hmm.
rather than other card games like, like One Piece. You'll have everyone's playing
Yellow or yeah.
yeah, basically everyone's playing yellow or whatever's good, right? Like
Yeah.
your meta is defined for you. Whereas Riftbound, the meta's never truly defined.
Except
Everyone's
except for Draven.
constantly cooking, except Draven. Man, Draven, I think, was just like a unfortunate situation. They
Yeah.
just gave him they gave him everything. So purple was really strong at the time with Fight or Flight. The
And like
legend just,
Seal, right? The Seal that was pretty
yeah,
good.
the seal, scrap heap. There was just like Miracle Draven was just a nightmare, and I really think a lot of the value is just behind the legend itself. If they had just reworded his legend to say tap from a win, instead of drawing two per turn, he would only draw up to one per turn. That would be his like best nerf. But obviously they can't do erratas
Yeah.
in that sense. But I think the medal system is really good. They already said that, for next year they're redoing skirmishes and other type of regionals, so they're making it so where players have more ways to just be competitive rather than being forced to go to a major regional, which I think is essentially taking a piece out of One Piece. And so I'm hoping, to put one over on that. Instead of, I do like the champion, or the Rengar champion, Lilia champion. They're cool, but I think I would like to see them go for like a special alternate card art route where your card feels special to you.
Hmm.
And best ofs, they're gonna stay around. I think Riot is 100% sure they're never gonna do any reprints. So I think anyone that does happen to have a best of, they can be confident that it'll be just that amount. So like set one best ofs, there's 9 in existence for Origins.
Hmm.
So they've already said like it will only be 9 ever.
Yeah, that's huge. Like just from a
Yeah,
player perspective, it's like if you win and you get a best of, like you basically have a serialized 1 in 10 card that you had to get, or you can only get from like playing a regional. And if
exactly.
like if they do stay true to no reprints, that's just it's huge for the collecting space and the players because players they're obviously wanting to play the game. So if they sell the best of, they'll collect what, depending on the character, it could be like a pretty hefty
They
penny.
can
I'm
right now, even like just Aurelia is, hitting 6 figures. I
oh
have people reaching out to me asking me if I have a PSA 10 best of Aurelia. So one aspect that I do also work with is the middleman service, or consignments.
hmm
And so lately it's been a lot of these guys asking, do you have Aurelia best of, Kaisa best of is the next big thing, Ari best ofs,
yeah,
Timo best ofs. Basically,
the
there's
Origins
definitely,
lineup.
and the guys that do have them, because I know a few people that do own some of these, and they're asking 6 figures all day, every day. So
Yeah.
the market is strong on these best ofs.
From what I've been seeing is like a lot of these best ofs because I'm in like private group chats and things like that with these people who also probably do own some of these. Like they're asking like some of these people's asking prices. It's like I'm not moving off of it anytime soon. So if you're gonna pry it away, it's
Exactly.
gonna be
You
it
basically
has to
have
be
to throw them an offer that they just cannot refuse. And I've
exactly.
told every single buyer, it's like, just be ready. Every single person that owns, I think I have 3 guys asking me for best of Kaisa PSA 10, and they're like, how much do I have to drop? I'm like, I'm gonna
Mm,
be honest with you. You're gonna have to drop at least 200 grand, because all the guys
yeah,
that I know have it, they're not letting go for less than 200. So
exactly. And it's just it's
it's good money though, right? It's like if you
it's
win it,
good
it
money.
feels real good.
Exactly. If you win that, like you're feeling great. Like that's
Amazing.
more prize pool. Like besides One Piece, like you're not winning that in a One Piece or a Pokemon tournament or what's the other one that you can get? Magic.
It's
I
like
don't know how Magic
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Standard works. Yu-Gi-Oh is like
Yeah,
I've heard is pretty abysmal prize pool. So it's like if you're just trying to make this into a living, right? Like pretty much you're playing One Piece or you're playing Riftbound if you're trying to make it
yep,
into a full living. Like those are the only two with like
100%.
prize pools in cards that like are worth your time and effort to like practice the game, pay for the meta decks if that's what your option is. Obviously with Riftbound, even though like we said and like you said, you could be in a lesser tier deck and still win a best of. Like you don't have to be the number one place in the overall tournament. You just have to be the first out of all the decks that are the people that play that deck, right? It's like
I
Ivern
mean,
best of,
look
right?
at the Orn player, and I think Hartford. He literally, I don't think he played a single match. Essentially, I don't remember exactly how it went, but he got his best of Orn and he didn't play.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because although you have such a, as more legends come, there's only like less and less per legend that people play. Like I think I've
Hmm.
seen like 2 or 3 Garen players, right? So I guess this guy was maybe quite potentially one of 2 Ornn players, and he got a bye round one. His opponent did not play against him like round two, and I think going forward he just kept missing rounds, or people just weren't showing up to his rounds, up to the point where he just got a free best of Ornn medal. And I
That
think Ryan,
is
I think Riot saw that, and they might be addressing that potentially in the future, where you have to hit day two. So
that's what I
it,
thought it was. Is you had to be day two
yeah,
to qualify.
that
So
that's
stuff
gonna
like
be
that
for
didn't happen.
Convergence Fest for sure, right? That's when they're gonna start it. I don't think they've confirmed it for next year,
Hmm.
how they're gonna do it, or if they're gonna keep doing the day two hit. I know there's like mixed feelings about it. People with essentially terrible legends are just, if you can't hit day two, you're just kind of wasted your time, right? Your legend didn't hit day two. You just, what are they gonna do with that best of now, since there's no one to give it to, right? So
Yeah,
they're gonna have to figure that out.
that's my concern with like some of the bad legends, like both like play like that are playable and they don't
Yeah,
hit day two. Like I think Ivern's pretty bad, right? Like
yeah. I don't think Ivern's hitting day two
yeah,
for
like
Convergence
Ivern wouldn't hit
Fest.
day two, so it's like, what do we do with this? Like we can't give it out. Obviously, there were some players here. Round one no show, round two loss, round three no show, round four loss, round five drive. Yeah, like if that's crazy. If you just catch a break like that and you just get a free best of, like that would be
Yeah,
pretty sick.
it was pretty funny to hear for sure.
That is hilarious. Another thing. So obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Best buy of Rumble, or best of Rumble was back, earned by through buys, which was crazy. Yeah, the best of Rumble was earned by through
Yes.
buys. That's
Yeah,
funny.
just buys. It was a
That's
Rumble, yeah.
crazy.
It's just it's funny to just hear about it. It was Rumble, yeah. I'm sorry. It was a
No,
Rumble, not the Orn.
I was gonna say I wasn't sure of the specifics, but
I just know it was like a
I
non-existent
I'd, I'd
legend.
heard something about that on Twitter where people were complaining about it because they're like, this person just like got a what
A
$20,000
free.
card probably for. And I think it's a great idea to have this because, like you said, it encourages deck diversity. Where like, the first couple regionals with like these legends, it's like, okay, am I going to a regional to compete for a best of, or am I competing for like, because if you're competing for a best of, you're like obviously you're playing a worse deck, but I think it's more creativity for the player because you're playing something that like isn't meta defined, right? You could come up with something that like may surprise people, and I just think that's super cool for the player scene. So
Yeah,
I think
I
best
love
ofs
it
are a
for
great
sure.
system. I really do like it, and it's huge for the game going forward. It encourages
And
more
I
people to
hope,
play.
exactly, and I hope for, if they do decide, you have to hit day two, I really hope they look at the top 64, top 16, top 8 type of pricing
Hmm.
to make up for, actually no, because it's the same problem, right? If you don't hit day two, you're probably not hitting top 16. So
Yeah.
I hope they find like a sweet spot. It's hard to define a sweet spot. I would like it to just stick to, like, hey, you don't make day two, but you were the best of your legends. I see why they want it to be 2 days, because we're about to have a large variety of legends as well to play between.
I would
So
say
I'm
we're
pretty sure
starting
they
to get
want
to
to try and
those
avoid. Yeah, we're hitting
those
those high
bigger.
numbers where it's
Yeah.
like you'll be the only, I don't know, maybe in Convergence Fest you're the only Rumble player, right? And
Yeah.
so you can just auto win it if you, but
Just
not
play.
specifically for that one. You have to hit day two, right?
Hmm.
But in the future, it's like, but those legends, from my perspective in the market, they don't really sell for a very large amount as
Hmm.
compared to like the popular
The
ones.
Aries, the Kaisas,
Yeah,
things
like
like that.
Lucian Best of, I think he just sold for like 15K in a PSA 10. Don't get me wrong, that's
I was
quite a
about to say
decent amount of money.
that's still like, I know we're like saying that's not a lot, but for the average person who shows up to a tournament, if I walked away and I told my parents like, oh, I played,
He made 15
I
grand.
made 15 grand doing this, they'd be like, oh wow, that's like to put in perspective, that's like I make like $50,000 a year salary somewhere around there. It's like that's a quarter of my salary made off just playing a
Yeah,
tournament. So that's still a lot of money for even a less popular champ. So if
yeah.
you're playing a popular champ or you're somehow really good with like one of the popular champs, like you're looking at a pretty paycheck. You're like the 200,000. If you had the Kai'Sa one, like
Oh, you made your money for the year, dude.
that's like not only for the year. That's like if I sold that for $200,000, that's 4 years of work. Obviously
Yep.
taxes and all the like nitty gritty stuff, but like that's 4 years of work for playing a tournament. So I think
Yeah,
it's great.
very rewarding.
I think it's great for players. Another
Yes.
thing I wanted to bring up because it's getting to be tomorrow. We have the T1 drawing or
Yes. That is
entering of the drawing.
the most exciting thing. I think since the day one of their announcement on it,
Hmm.
I've been like just talking about it to everybody, just being like, this is gonna be the biggest thing for Riftbound. Everyone, I hope you guys are gonna be ready for it. I'm, gonna try my best. I told some of my friends, it's like, hey, just, you know, throw your name in there, see if you win
That's
the lottery.
I did the same
Essentially,
thing. Did
yeah,
the
like,
same thing.
cousins, friends, anybody you can find that has a Riot account and has played League, and it's like, maybe I think you have to be like honor. I don't know their exact
I
logistics.
don't
They
know
don't announce
if they're
that.
doing honors because like at least from the previous ones I've won, every single one I've won has been on the same account that's won each raffle. But it's one of my alt accounts that's only ever played Valorant. It's never played League
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know because I know they keep that stuff very private, and they did say that they keep it private specifically
for
so
bots.
botters
I saw
don't
that
know
post
how they
today.
use their system. Yeah, so me, I however it goes, I'm just gonna pray. I think everyone's just gonna pray.
That's all you can do. That is
Yeah,
literally all you can do. I know for
I would
me,
tell people not to worry too much about botters
I agree. I don't think it's going to
over
be
this.
that big a deal. There's
Yeah,
just a
because
lot of demand.
exactly. It's like I think if you lose, you just lose to a real person, most
Yeah.
likely. And you know, Riot did say they if they need to do wave two of announcements, if they need to do wave three, that's essentially them. What they're gonna do is they're gonna filter after the first wave, and then if there's open slots, they're gonna announce a second wave of people that won, and then if there's more open slots after filtering the botters, there's gonna be the third wave. So I'm pretty confident that a vast majority of people are gonna be real players that deserve it.
I agree. I actually don't think botters are going to be a problem at all, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I just think that's kind of just like I don't want to say like Timmy talk, but like people are just like who are saying stuff they don't really know. Like the way the raffles have worked, I've never really had a because you have to have a Riot account, and yes, there's like Riot accounts you can buy, right? But
yeah,
like if Riot's taking it really seriously, which I'm assuming they are, they're going to be looking at things like playtime, your chat history, your play participation, whether you've even played League, things like that will go into
yeah.
it. That it's
Or if
like
you've been to a Nexus night at
if
all,
you've been to a Nexus night, if you even like have you entered previous raffles? This is the first raffle you're entering. Why are like things like that where it's like
Yes.
you maybe if it's like oh this is their first raffle they could still win but it's like lower priority because it's like they're obviously only entering this either to be a brand new person or just like so
Yeah, exactly.
I do wonder what they're gonna do in regards to that like how they're gonna filter it but I definitely think it's not gonna be as botted as people think like obviously there's gonna be bots entering but unlike I don't know if you follow the One Piece scene still very closely but like round one like people are
Oh,
botting
I
the and
won. I won
I
the phase one somehow
Oh,
of
you
that
won.
one.
I won phase two. Did you go to Grapevine?
I did. It
I
was
went
a
to Grapevine as
nightmare.
well.
I
I
so
can't
so the
imagine how
only
bad that was.
reason I did it in the first place was my friend. He's a big One Piece fan,
Hmm.
so he just asked all of us. Basically what I'm doing with him, where I'm asking him to get in the lottery for Riftbound. He asked me to do it for the round one. I somehow
Oh.
won, and so he forced me to come with him. I think it was like Sunday morning during DCS,
Mhm.
and he didn't force me. I was just like, okay, I won it. Let's make sure you get your 10 cards. That line was a nightmare. I think people had a better time in Arlington.
Yeah, Arlington was
Grapevine
fantastic from what I
was
heard.
atrocious. Grapevine, the line was not moving at all. It was one person from corporate. It was. I don't even want to talk about it.
As
I actually
somebody,
left.
oh, that's great. I mean, fair enough,
Yeah,
fair play. As somebody went round two to Grapevine, it was from talking to employees. They said it was miles better. They said
yes.
corporate actually listened and changed stuff.
Thank
And when
goodness.
I talked to
Yeah.
the Arlington people, because I went over there the following day for Arlington from phase one to pick up the chopper mat, because my
Yeah.
girlfriend and I wanted one of those each. And they still had a couple at Arlington because they held them back from day one. I went over there and they talked about it and they said it was like it was pretty mad, but they were like it wasn't as bad as they heard Grapevine was. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you survived that because that from what I was hearing, seeing the pictures online, it looked
Dude,
awful.
that was terrible. Never again is what I told myself. Unless it's Riftbound. I'll do it for Riftbound.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like the round one signups, people are like, those are really botted. But like round
Yeah,
one isn't putting the level of security that I think Riot is. Plus, this is like an email service, so it's like it's all attached compared to like round one, where it's like a fill out a form sort of
yeah,
thing. So I don't think it'll be as big a deal. Now, preferential treatment. Do I think they'll actually like prefer certain accounts? I don't know if they'll do that. Like looking at purchase histories and stuff. They could look at purchase histories, playtime, things like that. I think they might do that, but I think they'd more so, instead of preferential that, I think they'll defer accounts that don't have it, if that makes sense. Because if you
yeah.
play
Like if you haven't
League,
bought or anything,
yeah,
or
if you're just a brand new account that got bought or made, like they're not gonna, like, you have no playtime, no purchase history, no nothing, like they're probably not gonna care. But if you're an account that's like played before and stuff like that, that'll probably have higher priority to win. That's just how I'm guessing it's gonna work. Honestly, we don't really know, but
yeah.
it just makes no
I
sense
don't
to
think
me.
anyone knows. Everyone's just hoping. A lot of people have like a defeatist mindset with it.
Yeah.
I understand. It's like you have millions of people trying to get what one of 50,000 boxes. If it makes people feel better, Korea, it's even worse for them because the Korean version there's only 5,000 available, and
Really?
you have to have a social security Korean social security number, plus you have to be a member of the T1 membership there.
Oh wow.
So that stuff, because I was reading on Twitter, I think LS was talking about it.
Oh okay.
That's super restricted because people have been reaching out to him to see if he can help, but there's no way he can help.
Yeah,
Like,
I think he was talking about that in some of the group chats I'm in. Ellis was like
yeah,
saying that stuff. He
it's so they have it way harder than we do.
that sounds crazy, but I mean, I know there are a lot of people out there that are like, especially with Pokemon and One Piece, they're like, I wish people would just, or at least companies would. Like, obviously, it's people that are like, oh, I don't want my privacy to be violated, but there's other people that are like, just bro, take my government ID,
Yeah, just
sign
take
me up. At
everything.
least I just want a fair shot
Yeah,
at it. Like versus
yeah.
like all these other ones. But where do you think? Obviously, this is kind of investing a little bit, but where do you think those like prices will go? Like in your opinion, like pre-sale wise, I was looking on eBay. It looks like the Chinese ones are already going for like $28,000 to $30,000 for the Chinese ones. I'm curious where the English
Yeah.
ones are gonna go because
I
I'm.
think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'm unsure is where I'm at. So I wanted to hear your
You
opinion.
know, it's so when I looked at it, it's there's one signature I in the out of the five. I really think this is going to be a set that's if you want the full bundle, you're gonna have to willingly pay like at least 10 grand. We're
Hmm.
gonna have a lot of collectors buying into this, so collectors are gonna pull a lot of this out of essentially inventory, and then if it's potentially you can remove the cover, take out a card, and interchange it, it might make things better where we will see the signatures in the market, and quite frankly, the cheapest one you'll be able to get, which would be
Doran.
Doran's Abesta.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be between like 1 to 2k in his 10 or in his serialized, depending on the number, right? Like
Yeah.
low like the thousands would be a random number. If it's a 2025 number, I think he's going to go for quite a bit more because I see it as like a sports aspect where
Yes.
that's this is his rookie year. And so getting a 2025 Doran and Bessa, if he continues to hopefully do well in T1, his value as a player will just keep going up. So people will, in the future look at him
That's
uh,
where I
for
think
potential. But like Faker's Galio, yeah, you're gonna have to pay 10 grand, I think.
even for a
I'd say
random number.
even for a random number, I think you can get away with maybe 5k depending on the condition of the card.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, the people that are going to pay these numbers are people that are going to look to grade them with, PSA or Beckett.
Yep.
And so if your card is, really good condition, I'm willing to pay 10 grand for Faker Galio. I guess what I'll tell people is what I would be willing to pay is Faker Galio. I would be happy to pay up to 15k for a really good copy
Really good number,
because
really clean copy, I'm guessing.
yes, really like even the number. I think if I could find a 2023, 2024, 2025 number or a
666
000,
or
yeah, one of those like fun numbers.
like the really
Um,
crazy ones, yeah.
and any of his years that he's won, I think a lot of people haven't thought of it, but like 2014, 2015, like the years, like especially his first year ever won, I think it was 2014. Like those ones will go for quite a bit if you are knowledgeable and understand why that number has value. And I know why that number would have value. Like I would be happy to pay 10, 15k for the first year he's ever won, right? And so the misfortune that's Gumayushi. This is his last year with T1, so there might be a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of
Yeah.
history there.
So sad
But
to
it's
see him
misfortune,
leave.
right? I
Yeah.
know. Like I I really loved the OG team, right? ZOF, what was it? ZOFGK.
Zeus, and
Yeah,
Gumayushi and Carrie and all them.
I
So
think that
sad to
was
see him
like
leave.
the most elite team I've ever seen in uh League of Legends. I'd say it was comparable to what was the team? Moscow Five. If anyone remembers from the good old days, Moscow Five was another powerful team back in the day that figured out this like the meta and were just dominating.
So
And
you're going back far. I was watching Counter Strike
yeah,
back in this
yeah.
time. I was watching Pro Counter Strike. Ask me about
I've
Ninjas
been
in Pajamas 2015 or 2014. Like there's a reason I have like I'm an esports fan. Ninjas in Pajamas. I don't know if y'all can see it. This is a
I
Ninjas
do
in
know NIP.
Pajamas. Yeah,
Yeah.
NIP. I'm an NIP fan. I have a flag hung up in my room right now. I'm an NIP fan. I was watching them back in 2014, like
Oh
for
my
Counter
god.
Strike, back when they had fours. Get right, like they were the goats. They went like they won all those games. It was like 80 something or whatever it was. They won so many in a row. And then I was a fan. I fell kind of out of it, but I got back into it in like 2018, 2019, and just watched got back into the ninjas. I've hung out or not hung out, but I've messaged players and like played games with some of the NIP players before and give them skins, and they've played with them in the majors, things like that. So I
That's so
get
cool.
I get esports. Obviously, League is like still pretty new to me. I've only really gotten into League in the past like 3 years, ever since I started dating my girlfriend, because she's
Mhm.
if you watched the stream at all yesterday, she's the OG. She knows League. Um,
Well, she's a day oneer,
well, she's
just
not
like
like
me.
day one as in like there 2014, but she's a super fan of League. Like plays it every single day and like knows all the lore and all the like stuff and yeah, like she will go hard. Fnatic, CS or Fnatic,
Oh, Fanatic, man.
Fnatic's just an iconic organization every single
Yeah,
game. C9 as well. C9's iconic in League, CS, Valorant now. Moscow
yeah.
5, Nunu,
Fanatic
Bush
is
ult.
like a amazing EU team because they were, they were finalists. So they were like the first non-Korean or Chinese team to hit the finals for Worlds. So
Mhm.
they hit like a special feat that most teams in other regions
Has
struggle
any
with right now.
has any team won Worlds besides Chinese team or Korean team?
Yeah, there was this was a long time ago. I mean, Fnatic did win a
Okay,
long, long time ago, back in the
gotcha.
day.
Back in like 2015.
Yeah, and then like Taipei Assassins, so they were a Taiwanese team. They
Mm.
actually won as well. So
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
they were a really that's the story of a team that was known as like the underdog, right?
Hmm.
Nobody paid attention to Taipei Assassins. They just kept winning after winning, winning, and then suddenly everyone's like, how are they in finals? And then they won. I think I can't remember the year exactly, but I think it's like 2013, 2014, during the early
You
times.
said it was
So
Taipei
Taipei Assassins.
Assassins League team. Let's see what year they won. They won in. Oh my gosh, I might have to like dig down deep here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it here. Taiwan Regional
It's been a while.
Finals.
Let me
Yeah, this is
see.
like a long World's 2014 World
Yes,
Championships.
that's when they won.
Is
Yep.
this when they won? Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they were
see.
just
Like
really fun to
I don't
watch.
know this league history, so hearing league history like this is super interesting me, because like I said, I was watching Counter Strike. That's what I grew up playing. I was always an FPS person, so like
Yeah,
seeing
my
league
friend,
stuff is super cool to me. I
same
just
thing.
love learning new esports history. So cool.
Yeah, the league has like rich history when it comes to
Oh
esports.
yeah, I
Like
think League and CS are the two like richest, most like entrenched ecosystems for esports I've ever seen. Like those two will
yeah,
be around for the next like 3 decades because they're truly super fans of the game of
yes,
League of Legends that will like be fans for their entire life. Which is why, kind of a segue here. I think Riftbound will continue to do really well. Demographics here, 2012. Okay, 2012 might have been when they won. I, but the
I know we're the early years for
oh
sure. Just can't
yeah,
remember exact year.
demographics for Riftbound, I think. So if you look at when League of Legends released, what 2009 was kind of like its early release, and then it started to gain popularity. What 2012? The people who were playing that were probably college age people, probably back in their when they were 18, back in 2012. Those people now are hitting, I would say 30 to like 35, 36 years old. Those are the people who have now like spent their early formative adult years and are now starting to really be entrenched in money. I think we're really likely to see a Riftbound surge. Obviously, we've seen prices kind of already go up a lot, but just like a Riftbound surge in popularity among this demographic as they start to age up. Like the Pokemon demographic, the reason the boom has been so crazy for Pokemon, a lot of it can be attributed to nostalgia of like the 90s. Those people are now like the oldest 90s kid who grew up on Pokemon is now like in their 40s. These League people are hitting like they're 30 to 35 right now. And they're starting
Yep.
to hit that in the same age demographic of like they're like the younger millennial compared to like the slightly older millennial. They're gonna start having that really top tier money. And I'm sure you've talked to a lot of guys that are already in that age demographic that do have the money now, are the ones buying your cards.
Yeah. A lot of the guys, that do purchase these high end cards, they've been in leagues since, who can remember? Every single one that's even bought a best of or any of the PSA 10s is someone who's has history with League. And these are true fans that are buying this, right? These aren't just
Yeah.
random investors or anything like that. So
Yeah.
there's definitely so much history that League caused for Riftbound. And like you said, like all the 30, 40-year olds that are in it, they have a lot of money. They've worked, they finally found something that they want to spend money on when it comes to cards.
Exactly. I don't like to like I don't want to stereotype obviously, but there's like a lot of these league guys are like what software engineers or computer
Yes.
scientists. Like they
Oh
make
yeah.
good money, and like not all of them have maybe wife and kids, and they have all this
Well,
money. It's like I have a
they're
lot of
also
money.
crypto investors,
Crypto,
right? Like
a lot of crypto guys
yeah.
too. I've seen a lot of crypto guys on Twitter that are buying cases and things like that. But it's a lot of these guys that like have money, maybe don't have a wife and kids. Maybe they're just like, I already set aside a ton of money for stock market stuff, for investing. Let me just like, I have spending money. Like I make $250,000 a year working for Meta, right? As like a software engineer or AI or whatever hoopla they work for. And it's like, okay, yeah, I grew up playing Ivern my entire life. Let me go buy the Ivern best of for 20K. So
It's like Tyler One over there, huh?
yeah, it's like these people are aging into it and they're having the money. Like right now, I'm still like I'm 24. I don't know your age. If you did want to share?
I'm 27.
27. Yeah, so we're like really close in age to where I'd say like our generation of like because you're Gen Z, you're like we're both like the oldest Gen Z. Ours isn't quite hitting that like 30s, 35 to 40 range where we're hitting our peak years. So the generation that's just right before us, that millennials generation, is hitting that, and they have all the money right now. They're earning their
Yes.
peak earning years. They're spending the most money, as especially as the boomers start to die off and leave a lot of assets to their children, which are a lot of those millennials. They're gonna have even
Yep.
more spending money, which means a market like this will, even if there's down times, right? Even if there's times in the market where I think stuff is going down, I think there will still be a future for it compared to something like Yu-Gi-Oh. I really worry about, like just
Yeah.
collectability wise. There's a like this is the biggest TCG boom of all time, and Yu-Gi-Oh is struggling a little bit. Obviously, they're trying to change that, but we'll see what happens. But even Magic, to some extent, I feel like a lot of the Magic people are really starting to age out because Magic was like the late '90s as well. So like a lot of those guys are like they're like slightly older than Pokemon players. Because
Yep.
a Pokemon player that's now like 40, they were like 6 or whatever, right? Like 6 years old when Pokemon was big. But like a Magic player, when Magic was big, they were like 16. So they're like in their 50s more than likely. So it's a who's watching this on company time. So it's interesting to see like the dynamics of like where I think Riftbound can go compared to something like Magic.
I think it's also just like when you look at these card games and what else they have to offer, like Magic, unfortunately, it's based off of itself, right? It's a card game. There's nothing outside of Magic that people can really connect to.
Yeah,
Where Yu-Gi-Oh is the same way, right? The anime itself was a card game. When you look at other collectible aspect TCGs, Pokemon, for example, people grew up on the video game, the anime, lots of different things for them to make connections with, and then transition to the cards. That's same thing with Riftbound. A lot of people they're coming from something else, right, to Riftbound. It's not like Riftbound is its own IP card game that there's nothing outside of it. Right? You have League, you have TFT, you have so many other things that people can connect themselves with,
That's
and
true.
that's why we have so many collectors in it. For example, if you've played League, you're a mid main, you love playing Zed, for example, right? You're gonna love set four because it has a Zed signature. You're gonna be collecting Zeds. During
Yep.
my time vending, it's a lot of the people that come up to me, they've never heard of Riftbound, but they've played League, so they always ask, "Do you have this champion? Do you have that champion?" And that's how I see a lot of connection once more champions do come out in the future. Everyone has a champion or a role that they like to collect. I think a few months back there was a guy. He was an ADC main, and so he looked through all of my binders and picked out every single ADC rare,
That's cool.
altar, whatever it could be.
That's
He
cool.
just wanted he just wanted to collect every single ADC, and I think that's the beauty of just collecting Riftbound. It's just like Pokemon, right? Everyone has a favorite
Yeah.
Pokemon. Same. I see it as like a one to one where it's like everyone has a favorite champion or a favorite role, and they're gonna spend their money that makes them happy.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. There, like, for me, like, I'm a Nocturne fan. Like,
Oh yeah,
I got into it,
nice.
and when I was playing, I played Karma bot lane because my girlfriend tried to teach me. I did not enjoy being support. That was just not my forte. She was like, support me being, I'll be ADC and I'll play support, and I just had no idea. And then I was like,
It's like
oh,
a
okay,
typical couples duo right
yeah,
there.
but I was the support and she was the ADC. And then we're like, okay, well, let's flip it. And I played Jhin, and it's just way too mechanically hard. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the jungle because the jungle is like, I'm basically playing
PVE. You're
I'm
playing
playing PVE. I'm
PVE.
playing PVE for the first like 10 minutes, and I love that. I played Hecarim at first, but I just like could never get a feel for Hecarim.
Yeah,
And then I eventually just was like, I'm gonna try a new character. I'm gonna try Nocturne, and I just like fell in love. I love Nocturne. Like my favorite card in Riftbound is the Nocturne. Just like let me pull it up. It's just the Nocturne like playable card right now. That's uh in set
yeah. I
one.
think it was like
It's
Nocturne Horrifying, right, from
yes, it's
Origins. Like
Nocturne Horrifying. It's
he's just so
the
cool. His art is
it's
like cool.
like it's cool. I'm honestly I was wanting to get mine graded. Like this is a cool card. I have it just here. I'm probably gonna send it into PSA. It's not a super expensive card, but I'm waiting for like the value to ever open back up if it does. Like this is the type of card I just send in just because it'll probably 10 and it'll be cool to have.
The
But like
cool history with him is the artist, Six More Vodka. He actually is a very big artist when it comes to Riftbound. He's
oh, I
made
see.
a lot of arts. Like
Jeez.
he's the one that did the art for Dazzling Aurora,
I'm looking
Fizz,
at it
and some
right
stuff.
now. Jeez. He's
Yeah,
done
like
so much. Pike?
he's been in every single set I think so far when it comes to making these arts. I really like. I love the his art on all of the cards that he's made so far.
Yeah, this is awesome. They've done a great job with I think a lot of the sets. I do want to ask your opinion real quick on where you think like how do you think the current market is with booster boxes wise? Obviously, you're not a sealed guy. I know that, and I know I've brought it up with you before, and you're like, I'm not a sealed guy. But I'm just curious on like your take on like how the boxes, because all the boxes are now over MSRP. We're
Yeah.
looking at I'll just pull up a couple stats for you. At least $160. Vendetta I think has shot back up to $145. Spirit Forged has dropped back down. The reprint's hitting $186, and then Origins like 250. It looks like the reprint did finally hit, which we've been
Yes.
talking about it for a
It was
while.
it was a big one, and I
Yeah,
I don't I again I don't do sealed myself, but I do pay attention to everything in the market and just
yeah,
where things
especially with
are.
like that's what I was gonna ask. How do you feel about the signatures in these sets, or just going forward, knowing that a lot of these sets are getting hit with reprints down the line?
I think based on history, I always thought these signatures were undervalued for how hard they are to
Hmm.
hit. I
Hmm.
don't think people were like a lot of people were not there for Origins. On a case like per case basis, right? So a case of Origins, you're expected to hit about 1 to 2 over numbers, potentially even zero. And out of those, it could be a signature, but actual signature hits is about one in every 5 or 6 cases. That's pretty difficult to hit. And then people would just compare that to a manga hit. But one step above that is your signature is one of potentially, I think, 12 signatures in the set to hit. Which, I think someone on Twitter did like a full math of it, and it's like in order to hit your specific signature, it's like one in several like 100 cases potentially. I can't remember the exact math, but if in order to get like one of every signature, it's near impossible.
It's
So
insane from the math I've
so
seen.
back then, like Kaisa signatures were going for like 2 grand. Ari signatures were going for like 17, 1800.
I was supposed to say
Jinx signature was going for like $600. And
I
I'm
was
just like,
offered the lease
I'll,
in for $600, the signature, and I didn't take it. I was like, I'll probably get it for 300 when it drops more, and I did not pick it up.
yeah. At that time, anyone and everyone that brought me a signature and just said, whatever the price was,
I'll take, yeah.
I was paying 100% at the time because I just
Damn.
thought this is like, this is I true when I truly think something's undervalued, I will pay you, uh, you know, essentially the
Fair
comp.
market. Yeah, fair
And
market.
and the cards were just taken care of pretty well at the time. I think the quality control, I'm pretty sure everyone knows, is really good when it comes to Riftbound. I
Yeah.
will say, like, Spirit Forge, everybody fell in love with it. When it comes to the case prices, I think they're still a little lagging behind
I
the
kind of
signature
agree.
prices.
I agree.
So I I don't know why. I really I always look at it and just question it. I do understand, Origins, it's underprinted, but I do know that Riot's plan for reprints is they're going to do a similar to Pokemon. So they're going to continue sets 1 through 5 reprint up until, I think I was told, end of this year. And so with that mindset, as long as a set is continually in print, it won't really skyrocket or go crazy. But once it's out of
Yeah.
print, right? Once it's
Yeah.
completely done, I think that's when we're going to see these price like spikes. Like, I specifically for Origins and Spirit Forge, I think these two are the most
The best so far.
undervalued
Bread and
cases
butter right now.
around. Bread and
I
butter, hands down.
I was talking about it. I did a breakdown with somebody on stream the other day because they were asking my opinion on Vendetta and like reprints, and I was doing the math on like reprints, and I think there's maybe one more Origins reprint they'll probably do in January of next year, give or take.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think it's free run. They have too many sets now to keep going back and reprint. I'm sure. I think
Yes.
Spirit Force will probably get. This is the first one. We'll probably get two more. We'll probably get one in January with that Origins one again, and then it'll probably get one next summer. Is probably what I'm guessing. Probably a smaller one, but like another one. And then like they're done. Like they will start running because they got to reprint, or they'll have to worry about Legacy. They'll have to worry about Reckoning. They'll have to worry about Set 8 and Set
And just
9
other
Shadow of
products in
Isles.
general,
Yeah,
right?
and just
Like,
other products. They
you
obviously
have
have a
the
ton of stuff to do with like the vaults they're doing, obviously the showdown decks.
yes.
Like they're making a bunch of just stuff in general, and I don't think they'll like. The reason they can keep going back right now, and it feels like, oh, there's another Origins. There's only 4 sets. Like,
Yep.
yeah, they can go back and reprint Origins. They've just printed Vendetta. Yeah, they can throw Origins back in the line. Once they have 9 sets, and Origins and all those sets that are being, printed right now are going out of print, there's not really a reason to go back and reprint them because it's like, okay, let's say summer 27. Origins boxes are $400, $500 a box. Do you think they're going to go back and reprint Origins? Maybe they go back and reprint it one more time. Who knows? But even if it gets reprinted one last time, that just signals to people that it's like, hey, they're done with this because it rotates what, beginning of 28? Like all the first 5 sets are rotating?
Yes.
Okay. And that kind of
So
that kind of
they I think they're taking a page out of Pokemon's
yeah, that's what I
print run
saw in
cycle
some of the
from what it looks
stuff.
like. And after hearing about that new bundle, the Gift of the Rift bundle, which I
Mhm.
consider like a UPC essentially, if they do reprints like we say, I think they'll be in like, other products. Like Gift of the Rift, it's gonna be, a really cool end of year product. It has 16 packs in it, 3 Origins, 3 Spirit Force, 3 Unleashed. I think it's
Mhm.
3 packs of the first 4 sets, and then I'll have 4 packs of Radiance, right?
Mhm.
If they do reprints, it'll be packs inside of other sets, right? Like non cases essentially.
I would say,
Maybe just more
well,
booster boxes.
I would expect like they'll do small reprints of Origin, Spirit Forge, things like that, or just like
Yeah.
they'll do like the big box Pokemon of like
Yes.
One
Exactly.
Piece has the illustration boxes, which are supposed to be like big box plays just to get like packs into stores. I wouldn't be
Yep.
surprised if Riftbound does something similar. One of the things I do think Riftbound, this isn't the segue I was going to do. I was going to segue into something else, but it just popped in mind. One thing I was wondering is like, besides the best ofs and like some of the metal cards, a lot of promos right now are not where I kind of would want them to be. I think the UPC, like the Secret Garden box that just recently you were just talking about, I think those are the best promos we've seen so far, or some of the better ones.
Yes. I
I
think
just
the that Secret Garden is really cool. I would
hmm
tell people do not pay the $300.
that's what I'm
There's
saying as well.
there's plenty of events coming out. I would justify paying at max like $150 if you really want it.
That's where I was
It,
at as
it
well.
It's I think a lot of people are just getting that FOMO feeling because other promos and other products in Riftbound are so high that people think, "Oh, if I don't get this now, it's gone." And that's definitely not the case.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it, but not at $300. I've said that on stream.
Yep.
I think the product is
It's
good, and that's like a product I want to see more of in store. Like obviously, I think it's regionals exclusive right now, but I would love to get like a big box store with like exclusive promos or like the Akali promo that's coming out in
oh man, that thing in
the
that Gift of
gift
the Rift
box.
one? Oh my
That's
god.
gonna be fantastic. Can I just say
Yes.
like that? That's gonna be that's the first promo that they're basically doing, or the first like some of the first artwork that they're just like doing like non-splash team. Like it's just like that's gonna be the promo. I'm excited for what's to come after.
It's also an English exclusive because
Oh,
China's version, it's gonna not have the Akali, it's going to have a Kennen. So this
oh,
Akali promo specifically, it's a English exclusive Akali art.
that's pretty sick. I did not know it was going to be exclusive. So yeah,
Yeah,
they're
so
doing
this
the
is
right
the first
stuff.
time NA gets like a good promo because if everybody compares NA to Chinese promos,
The
including
Chinese
just
ones are
like
insane.
competitive, they always just look better. A top 64
Yeah,
MF. I know we got our own MF. It was a champion MF, but it's like it's not top 64, top 8 or anything like that. They got it like champion, top 4, top I think top 8, top 64, whatever, but the Ezreal too or the and then I think there was an Aphelios. Beautiful arts.
yeah. No, I think they're doing the right thing. In the like right now, I'm still a little disappointed with the promo lineup we have because I'm
Yeah.
a promo guy. Like I like to buy promos and just buy them,
What do you mean,
keep them
man?
stashed.
We got shirtless Jace
We
basically.
got Ash pre-release. That seems
Oh yeah.
like I don't know.
Have you
I'm just
have
not
you
a.
seen that Ash just was selling for like I
It
think
was like
10
seven. It
bucks
was
at
like
some
$7 to $8.
yeah, and it shocked me because I'm just like, why is this Ash selling for so much? You know, like Yone was like $1 when he was out, and then
Well, the
I
Ash
think it's
was
just
like a
a lot of new
dollar.
people coming in.
The Ash
Yeah,
was like $1 for a while because I made a video about it. I'm a promo video at one point, and I talked about it. And it was 75 cents. You could buy 35 of them for 75 cents. And I think somebody from the video who's in the Discord. I don't know if he's in stream right now, but he went out and actually bought all of them and then sold them for like $10 a piece. I was like, oh, I should have done that myself.
that's a
Um,
big come up. That's good.
yeah, no, it's like that's a nice little chunk and change, and that's what I like to do with promos. So that's why I'm like the lineup right now is kind of looking weak. I want some like really nice promos that are readily available that eventually can be pretty cheap. Like One Piece has like a lot of the Luffy promos, like the Treasure Booster one that like was readily available at $1 for years, and now it's like $10, $15. So something like that I can just kind of stack up. I love making those like 300 worth of these promos. Like I'll buy a bunch of them and then just sell them at a later date. Quick
Yeah,
question from Hiko. He's saying, how much do you think the secondary market for the T1 box will be? I think right now, I think we were talking about that earlier. I think we said like what 3,000, two
I
to
think the
three
box
thousand.
itself, I've have people that have bounties on it for like
Oh,
up to
bounties, damn.
15K.
Ooh,
Yeah, so there's people that I know that are ready to drop 15 grand on an unlimited supply. And of course these are like those big guys,
yeah,
but you know, when you hear these numbers for people, it's just like and I know these people, they when they say a number, they
they
mean the
mean it.
number.
They mean it. Yeah,
Not tell someone else to pay 15K, obviously. I would say 3 to 5K
it's probably where I'll
is
see it
like
on
a
eBay. It's personally where I'll probably see like
yeah.
4K is kind of where I'm guessing it's gonna be. Off
And I
rip.
think being around that price, it's actually a good price because if you can hit obviously if you look at the ratio of hitting the signature inside the bundle,
Hmm.
you have a 60% chance to do really well because
Hmm.
you have Seraphine, Misfortune,
Misfortune.
and Galio.
Yeah.
So the odds are actually pretty good of getting a really good signature. And I still think Owner's Zinzao is good, but just obviously not as good as the other three. Doran would be unfortunately like, just one of the worst ones, but still not that bad. Quite honestly, if you hit a PSA 10 of him, he'll probably move for like maybe 4K in a PSA 10.
Yeah, I'm her. Sorry, I think my Wi-Fi might be lagging. I apologize to the stream if it's my girlfriend's also streaming right now, so it's using a bit of bandwidth. But I'm in agreement. I think like 3 to 4K because my estimate is like the Doran will probably be like 1 to 2K like you estimated because it's like something's gotta you can't just print money by opening the boxes at market price and then just being like, oh, I either break even or make money. Like the boxes would just go up in price because everyone would just be opening them.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I think like box price wise, I mentioned in Discord earlier today. There's a card shop near me, and obviously I won't name names. But they posted that they were buying them for $900, and I was like, that's really low. And then I said I would, and then, this is probably where I probably should have kept my mouth shut. But I said I'd be buying them for 1,000 if anyone actually wanted to sell them.
I know. I saw. I think you got banned,
I
right?
got banned. Yeah, I straight up got banned from the thing, and they said I looked afterwards on a different account. And they were like, we're banning anyone who says that harms the store, and I was like, whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
I like the store, but it's just like, all right,
I get it. I get it on both ends, right? It's like that's their number, right?
yeah.
If that's their number,
That's why
it
I
is what it
realized me
is.
saying that what I said was like probably not the best, but at the same time, it's like if you're gonna offer it, like don't throw such a disrespectful offer because they what they said in Discord was they wanted just like people to only go sign up and then sell to them for $900, and I was like, it's kind of a little disingenuous. Let's be real, like. A lot of the people near me don't know what this is or care what it is. They're just gonna go sign up because they can get $500 or whatever it was of
Right.
profit. But it is a little like I don't know. I thought it was a little inconsiderate considering I think like if somebody knows what they have, they wouldn't sell it for 900 or even 1,000 for cash.
Right.
Like realistic. Oh
And
my
that
god.
is one other thing is I think a vast majority of people that are signing up are going to be because I think the true majority of people are people that just don't know or are
Yeah.
people that don't care, right? They're doing it for somebody else. So although we have like millions of people, I think we have like a smaller amount of people that actually understand,
What it is.
investments and secondary market, and they're just offering their friends or whoever, hey, I'll give you $1,000 if you can win this, right? The
Yeah, that's
friend
kind of where
couldn't
I'm
care
at.
less.
Yeah, I told some of my friends, enter it. If you win, let me know. I'll pay you $1,000. Like obviously I'll cover the $300 and then like 700 plus or whatever on top. Like that's profit
Exactly.
for you. All you have to do is enter, and if you win, just buy it, and I'll get it. Like for most people, they're cool with that. They don't really care. Um, so that's why like I don't really mind or whatever. But I just was like I thought it was funny, and then they didn't take it too kindly. So it is what it is. I'll probably have to reach out to my contacts of that store and be like, "Yo, I was just joking. I apologize. I was not being ingenuous about like trying to steal the business of this shop." But it's neither here
Yeah,
nor
I hope
there.
I hope them the best. If they do
Yeah,
get them for 900, that's amazing for them.
yeah. I was
So
about to say, I'm like, if you get it for 900 and it's going for 3,000, like you're buying it at what 33%. That's pretty scummy in my opinion to be buying for that
yeah,
cheap if it is that
and
expensive.
quite honestly, I think these stores will know how much theirs are worth. I think stores are going to be asking like at least 4 to 5K. Typically, stores
Yeah,
ask for
yeah, a
above
small
whatever
premium,
market rate is.
a small
Yeah,
premium. So that's where I'm like,
and they use the excuse of overhead costs,
yeah,
which
they'll use the excuse of overhead costs, but like we all know it's like pure profit, which is where I'm like, come on. If these do come out at 4,000, I show up and I'm like, oh, you normally offer 50%, but you're not gonna offer 50%. You're gonna offer me 25%. It's like, come
yep.
on. So yeah, that's where I'm kind of at with those. But I won't talk too much about that. That was earlier today. Like I said, I'll handle that on my own. But I did think it was funny that it's like we're talking about these the T1 boxes, and I'm like, this box is gonna be
I
like
would
three
I would
thousand
also
dollars.
just tell people not to worry too much about T1. Like I said, Riot has so many good products. I think
Exactly.
everyone's mind is hard focused on T1, but many people aren't paying much attention to Set 5, which
Oh, that was gonna be my next
is
segue. I don't know if you have stream pulled
yeah.
up.
No, I don't. I don't. It's just
Oh,
more of like
I've had it pulled
everyone I've
up
been
for the past
talking to.
20 minutes trying to
Like
segue it.
Set 5
Great segue by you.
is it's a set that I'm more excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm excited for T1, but if people don't know, Set 5, it's not guaranteed, but it's
It's
essentially
looking
already
like it's looking like.
looking very strong that it's going to be the KDA skin line.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a League fan, you know what KDA is. It's a major K-pop. Or I wouldn't say K-pop specifically, but it is like it has K-pop
It's pretty much
members in
K-pop.
it. It's got Madison Beer in
It
it. It
does have
has
Madison Beer. Madison Beer's the leader, right? She's Seraphine.
she's no, she is Evelyn.
She's
Seraphine is I
Evan.
think
Okay,
Seraphine came in later. She was considered like a quote unquote guest star with them, and now
mm-hmm.
she's officially like a member.
Gotcha.
But Ari is, if you guys know a group called G Idol, now they're called Idol. Ari is Mian, who's one of their members, and then Akali is also another. So Idol has two members as KDA characters. I think Mion is the Ari, and then Soyeon is the Akali. I Unfortunately, I'm so sorry for everyone else. I do not know who the everyone else is. I know Madison Beer's Evelyn.
I knew
I
Madison
don't
Beer.
know.
I knew Madison Beer
Yeah,
was in the group. That's all I knew.
she's Evelyn. Yeah, so she
My
is
girlfriend was
Evelyn in there.
breaking it all down for me the other day, and I was like, I knew KDA and I knew like the characters, but I didn't know like who was voicing them and stuff. So
Yeah, so
I
these are
have
major people, right? Like these are
yeah,
popular people
very
in the
pop relevant right now too.
and ADA itself is extremely popular, and I think from the state of the game, we have an ultimate rare coming out in this. So this is the second time we're going to see an ultimate rare in set
Oh yeah, they haven't revealed
in
what
a
that
main
is
set.
yet.
I'm thinking from my just assumptions, I usually can kind of figure out, but I think the ultimate rare is going to be a so KDA had their regular skins, and then one of the champions, which was Ari, had a I forgot the name, but it's like one tier above type of skin.
Mhm.
And so I think the ultimate
Is this
will
one of the
be an
gotcha
Ari.
skins?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's like I
Radiant? Is
forgot.
that what it's called?
It's Radiance is the set five.
Okay. Oh.
But like KDA Ari. Oh, it was Prestige. That's what it was. So
Prestige. Okay.
Prestige was basically one cut above regular KDA
Oh yeah, I
skin.
see. I have it pulled up here. Okay, so you
Yeah.
think this will be the ultimate rare, and they have Ari as this? Oh my god,
That's what I
dude!
think. I think it will be a Prestige KDA Ari skin for the ultimate rare slots.
Oh my god,
I hope it will be because
That'll put Baron to shame. I'm so
oh
sorry for Baron.
that'll that'll put Baron to like almost nothingness. So, a lot of people being focused on T1, I would say don't, worry too much because this year uh again, there's so many products. We have
Yes,
T1 coming out next month, and then end of October,
Radiance October.
well, actually October we also have the non-signature bundles for T1. This is
That's true. That's
focused
true.
towards the players,
I
which
think
I
most
think they're
people will be
beautiful
able to get
skins
those.
also.
I think those
Yes.
might like a lot of people will be able to get those regular ones. The signature ones, I think they made super. Like you said, they limited them 10,000
Yes.
around. I think the normal ones they're gonna have made a lot of these, knowing that a lot of people obviously won't get the regular signature ones, and they'll want these like just regular bundles. So I'm excited for
Yeah.
those. That you bring up a good point with that. I'm
Yeah.
excited for those.
And then so you have that in October, you have set 5 in November, and then you have the Gift of the
Mm.
Rift bundle in December.
That I'm
And
excited
then
for too.
basically we're moving into set 6 right after that, which is again another really cool set. It's
It's got to have a
Legacy,
lot of
so
stuff in it.
it's a lot of nostalgia
Hmm.
for people, right? We're going back to the good old days of
Classic.
OG champions, right? We have Garen, we have Ash, we have um I don't know why Lowie's in there, but we have a lot of OG feel to it. I think Heimerdinger's in there. I can't remember off the top of my head the confirmed legends, but
I could probably pull it up
there's
here.
plenty of cool products, and so T1 isn't the only one. I know there's like a lot of money behind it, a lot of collector love to it, but I would tell people don't worry. Um, there's only so much money that people can spend, so just spend wisely.
Yeah, it looks like Ash, Garen, Heimerdinger, Lowy, Karma, Lux. Lux is going to be in this one.
Lux
Tryndamere,
is gonna be insane. That'll be our
Vladimir.
first potential
Well, no,
signature Lux.
we're getting the one in the proving grounds, right?
So that Lux, that's an overnumbered non-signature. So that's an
Oh, okay, yeah,
overnumbered
it'll be first
best of,
overnumber, not signature. You're right.
and it's gonna be a one of two, right? So I don't necessarily consider it part of like a main set style because it's a one of two, right? So
Hmm.
and people are already willing to pay $1 million on it. This is I think Convergence Fest, we're
Wow.
going to start seeing our $1 million deals for some of these high
Wow.
end cards. So I think my guys are more interested in that Lux than the Ari, which is
Wow.
just which is very impressive because that Lux is there's only two copies of that overnumbered art unless they decide to reprint it in smaller variants or whatever in the future. But until there's confirmation, there's only two confirmed arts of that specific two copies of that specific art for Lux, which holds insane value.
Yeah, I don't know if you were able to see stream. I know you're a busy guy. Yesterday we did a tier list of all the most popular characters and where we think their signature would rank. It was with chat and me
Oh yeah.
on where we thought like each person's signature would kind of hold up in a set. And Lux was definitely up there. It was like Lux was in the S tier. I think the only guy character, or I guess there was Timo, but the only other guy character we kind of all agreed on was Viego, which he's getting a set in set 9.
Yes.
It was Shadow
Him. I
Vials.
think I think it's gonna be like him, Hecarim, Callista,
Mm-hmm.
and Yorick. I'm
Yeah.
excited for Yorick. I think Yorick is a fun champion.
I agree. I think York's cool. I don't think he was like that high in the popularity, but
No,
like he'll be a good like filler skin.
yeah,
Like he'll
he'll be
he'll
a
do
fun
good.
little troll top lane pick for me personally.
Yeah.
I'm a mid main, so I've always
Mm.
been a big Zed fan. So
Oh,
I'm
did you
actually going to prep, hopefully spending. I am going to try and get the overnumbered best of
for
Zed.
Zed? Okay.
So I'm gonna try and play for it, and
See what you can do with
that'll be
that.
amazing. Yeah, if I can get day two and be a best of Zed, that's save a lot of money. But if I gotta spend it, I have to figure it out.
I was supposed to say it's crazy to think that like spending money going to regional competing is more optimal than probably just buying it at this point.
Yeah,
That's crazy, but I respect it. If I like I said, if Nocturne comes out with one, I might have to learn the game because that would be pretty sick.
yeah,
But
Nocturne's so
speaking
cool.
speaking with Radiance, like obviously, somebody in the chat here said that KDA is returning later this year with a new album, which makes perfect sense with Radiance. So that's another big
Yes.
thing. So obviously
So
confirmed
I
right
think
now
there
we
was
have.
leaked, like Madison Beer's also been talking to Riot, so we might
Hmm.
see a Worlds performance for
I would
finals
that'd be pretty
from
awesome.
KDA. Yeah,
It's in Dallas. Are you going?
finals will be in New
I
York.
know finals will be in New York, but are you going to some of
I'll
the?
be at every event. So I'm gonna go to group stages in LA. I'm gonna be at uh, the Swiss up to the semis. I'm basically gonna be at every single event.
Okay.
Um, I love League. Obviously, love watching it. So I'll support it all the way through.
That's very fair. We didn't win tickets, which sucks because it's in
Do not
Texas.
worry about that. I think a lot of
Really?
people they so Riot. I've done this. They've done this before in the past, but they do it in waves. They have not released
Mm,
all the tickets for these events. Okay,
I hope
so
so.
they have a second wave in August, end of
Hmm.
August that they're gonna do, and then they do another wave. Basically, every month they'll be doing waves of like tickets released into the market. Up until literally 2 weeks before the event, they will keep releasing tickets. So I think a lot of people are thinking that they don't lost their chance. You have not lost your chance. There's going to be plenty of more opportunities in the future to potentially get your tickets. So I would say
That's
just
great to hear.
yeah, so just pay attention to LOL esports and the news and what Riot is saying, but they are going to release more tickets. They have a system that they use to counter the bots. They understand it can only work so well because they have to run it through Ticketmaster, but
Yeah,
they're trying
that's
their best.
Ticketmaster's the ultimate culprit in all this. They're the
Yes,
ones because they're like, well, they don't care because
they couldn't care less.
they make a sale whether a scalper buys it or somebody else. But I just know like the
Right.
tickets right now are so overpriced I wouldn't be able to afford them.
Yeah, just
Um,
just wait. Just
I'll hopefully we can win them. Hopefully we can win some because
yeah,
like it's in Allen, like it's like a
it's like
3 hour drive from me. Like it's
this is
not.
our best time to ever go because it's like how like it's what every 3 or 4 years that NA gets to host Worlds.
Mhm.
So it's a rare opportunity. It's Riftbound's first year too, so it's like
Yeah, there's gonna be
it's
worlds exclusive stuff there. I'm assuming for
exactly. Yeah,
Riftbound.
I think so too. I definitely think so. I think there's actually going to be not a regional, but there's going to be actual like playing events
Hmm,
uh
that'd be
Worlds.
fun.
So that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, Riot likes to essentially do a lot of what's the word? Just like Wild Rift, right? Like they bring other things. They like to partner with their other
Yeah,
games.
I think partner is the right word where they'll like
Yeah,
encompass everything all together in like one sphere because it's they can market themselves basically, which is
yeah,
they know they're like somebody like you who like plays all their games like will be interested in whatever they have to promote. So it's good marketing for
exactly.
them. I did want to ask. So obviously, for I have it pulled up. Radiance here. We have the confirmed legends. We get Seraphine, Evelyn, Echo, Ziggs, Jarvan. Four more legends. If you do think the Ari Prestige is more than likely the ultimate rare, do you think, which I think would make sense because Ari already has two legend cards, right? Or no, she only has one still. She just
She
got
just has the one
she just has the one, then the alt art for Spirit Forge. But
for her
where
blue chip. Yeah.
yeah. So who do you think these other four unannounced legends are? Obviously, I'm thinking Akali. Uh, who
So I
else?
was originally thinking it could have been Echo, but now Echo is confirmed for set.
No,
I think
he's
7.
confirmed in this one. He's confirmed for Radiance. Echo
Oh,
is.
is he? Okay,
Yeah.
so then it would just be I think music type of champions, right? So there could be a Cassante,
Hmm.
potentially.
Yeah.
There could be pentakill champions from that line. So you could maybe see like I don't know. It's hard to really say exactly who, but I could even see a Sona.
I could see a Sona
Sona
as well.
Sona Sona has great potential
She
to be
doesn't have a
one.
legend card yet either, which would make a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
plus she's, she's music. She's a music
Hmm.
champion, so
Yeah,
it works very well.
I
Um,
I really think it's probably gonna be Seraphine, because I think it's gonna be the lineup of KDA minus Ari. Because if she's gonna be the prestige, then in that case, so that would be Akali and who's the other one? Kai'Sa, right? Would they be? You think they get a
oh, like
second
a
one?
reprint legend? I feel like
Like
that
it's
could
and it's just an alt
be the
art version.
case. Yeah. I think so from what I've seen how Riot likes to release stuff, right? Set 1, we had an Ari legend, and then set 2 we had the Ari chosen champ, or I guess
Yeah.
just champion. But for what I'm seeing now, it's like set 4 we have a Kali champion, and then a Kali legend. So I've noticed that when they release a champion, about one set later, they tend to release a legend to support that specific champion.
Hmm.
And they just released Kale. So I do think there's a possibility that it could be like a pentakill Kale
That would be pretty cool. I
for
think that was
set 5.
one of the options we were talking about last night for
Yeah, like
potential.
there's a lot of good potentials. I'm kind of just looking at what champion do we already have released
Hmm.
in like music skin line, and which champion would be chosen to be a legend to pair with its champion. I think Kale is a good option. I think from Pentakill, that's about all I can think of. Maybe Karthus. Karthus would be cool.
Yeah, I can get
It's
behind that.
it's yeah, it's like there's a lot of options. I honestly don't even know. I think all the ones that I do care about are essentially, released. So so it's like it,
Fair.
it can only get better as you have more in the future.
I'm excited for once they start rotation and sets like Radiance is, in my opinion, one of the sets I'm most excited for because it's going to be in rotation the least amount of time. Like it's getting released October of this year, and then it'll only be in rotation basically next year. It'll get maybe two reprints, if that, and then it'll be gone because it'll be rotating out. So if Radiance is a really good set, like I think it could, if it has something like that ultimate rare prestige Ari, I've already been locking in pre-orders early. I was getting them for 135.
Nice. That's
Yeah, exactly. I was like, if I can get them for 135, I'm going to. I just if that box is or if that set is good, like it'll probably be in the 180s easily, like Spirit Forge is, without a doubt.
I also think I will say I do talk to shops pretty
Mhm.
often,
Yeah,
and they've already reached out to me for potential pre-orders for set 5. I can tell people that there's going to be a lot of cases for set 5. So
that's awesome to hear, though.
um, you know, I'd say a good comparison in a mindset would be Unleashed had a great amount of print run, but it didn't have as much players or people wanting it, right? Like demand. So the
Yeah,
supply was beyond the demand. Set 4 is doing a different thing where there's still high supply, but the demand's just gone up way, way higher. So a lot of my stores, I couldn't get the same amount of cases that I could back in the day for Unleashed. I
hmm,
think Set 5 will be the supplies again up there, but the demand, we
be
may
even
just see
higher.
more demand
Yeah,
compared to the supply because um one of my shop guys, he said that there's people already offering like $800 per case for his stuff, and I said, pre-order, that's kind of crazy, but we're looking at,
a
you know
very
I guess.
possible set that has a top tier like Ari card, top tier.
Yeah,
It's gonna have a Seraphine, it's gonna have an Evelynn, already very popular characters. Echo is a
yeah,
very popular character, and there's still four that haven't been announced yet.
I think
So
Sona might just be one. It's just
I
there's
think Sona is
something
probably gonna
that
be one
tells
as
me
well.
Sona's gonna be a
She's
different
also
character.
another like really popular character. I kind of put. I think she
Yeah.
was in the A tier. So like, there's a lot of going on for Radiance, and I think I'm really excited for it. I think it'll be really good. I'm excited to see what the signatures look like. Hopefully, we don't get any Renekton's or Poppies, like
Oh,
as in
please
that
no.
level of art, because those are both
We could see
awful.
Yone, like a Heartsteel Yone, potentially, which
Yeah,
would be cool.
hasn't he already got? He already got one. He's already gotten a signature though, so that'd be his
That's his
second one.
that would be his champion, so this might be the legend to
Gotcha,
pair with a champion. So
gotcha.
just like what they're doing, like if you have a champion and it doesn't have a legend to pair with it yet, I think they're more likely to have a legend soon later on. Kind of like how Akali has set 4. Well, actually, no. This Akali is a legend. I actually don't know. I guess that would be a champion that they would release. I think it's gonna do like Spirit Forge style, where the big SIGs are just gonna be champion skins or champion SIGs, and then The over numbers will be legends.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for it. I'll leave it at
Yeah,
that. And then set 6 is going to be. I think they announced there's going to be 96 showcases. Like
yeah, it's insane.
that's insane, and that's with like 12 legends, 12 signatures. So there's going to be like 50 plus. Obviously, I think they announced battlefields are getting over numbers, which
Oh, I did not know that.
I think
That's actually even more incredible.
yeah, which is why I think that set is so big. Because that's got to be the replacement set, right? That's got to house basically like all the playability of cards for the next like year. Because as soon as 2027 starts, you'll only have Legacy, Reckoning, set 8, and set 9, and then whatever set 10 is. So you only have 5
Yeah,
sets. So Legacy's going to be really big, and then whatever set 10 is probably going to be really big as well. Just kind of
I
hold all
think
the
set
glue together.
I think set 7 through 9 will be a quiet time for Riftbound.
And I'm so
As much
excited.
as I do love to say it, but every market has to have a downturn.
Hmm.
It's just required so
One
that
Piece
new
went
people
through
can
it.
come in at a. Oh, it's gone through plenty. It actually has. Its up and down is more frequent than most other TCGs that I've seen personally,
I was
but it's
hoping.
good for it
I agree.
because
I think it is really good. I was hoping Unleashed would be way cheaper than it is. Unleashed was like what $100 a box you could get it, and
yeah, I was I
it's
was
160
pushing.
now.
That's honestly incredible too. It's like
That's what
Diana
I
was like.
said.
Funny thing with that set was also because it was a player heavy set.
Mhm.
People don't remember, but it's LeBlanc. It's herself was going for like 12, 1300 as a sig, and Diana was like a $700, $800 sig.
Yeah,
When Alan CQ won the regional with her, it flipped almost instantly because LeBlanc saw no more wins, or no wins at all actually. So she dropped to. They basically flipped their numbers. So
yeah.
LeBlanc went down to like an $800 sig, and Diana just keeps rising every time.
She's like
And I had predicted her
$2,000
to
now.
be yeah, and I really think she's just like the main chase of set 3. Beautiful arts.
I'm personal anecdote or opinion, I guess, of set 3 is I'm not a big fan of the Diana. I actually do like the LeBlanc more. I'm just not a fan of the Diana card. I know a lot of people do like the artwork. I'm gonna be always up front and like what I don't and don't like. I think pricing wise, it's doing good. It's like $2,000. I think a PSA 10 is like $6,000. What one just recently sold for,
Yeah,
which
my
is
friend just sold his
insane.
for 6K also. It's
Was that
just
what his
incredible.
would he sell through PSA?
He sold it no, he sold it like, locally
Oh, was
to
it T Fang?
I think no.
Oh, okay.
T-Fang did not. It was another friend of mine. It was like a trade plus cash deal.
Oh, okay.
He basically picked up a PSA 10 Akali Sig
Mhm.
in exchange for his Diana plus some cash. I think he's a major collector, so he's like, I already have 2 Dianas. I can get rid of one to pick up an Akali that I don't have yet.
Yeah. I love like personal bias showing. I love the Ivern card. I still have the one I picked up from you. I guess my
I think
girlfriend
it's
picked
so
up.
cool, man. I picked up 2 more because I was like,
I'll
this
say,
card is just so cool.
this card you looked at it. If you sold it to us, did it have a chance to back it? Looking at it, no, it definitely did not. I'm looking
No, it had a chance. It had a PSA
10. Yeah,
opportunity, just not a Beckett, because Beckett is like I'm pretty sure you're aware they are
yeah,
extremely
yeah.
strict when it comes
Dude,
to these cards grading. And
we just got some One Piece cards back, and my girlfriend got an 8 on Surface.
oh,
I don't even know how that's
oh my gosh,
possible on a One Piece
it's
card.
yeah. They've been like strict for sure. I think I just picked up one of my clients. He had like 8 signatures that I submitted for him, and all of them hit 9.5s, and he's just like
Oof.
he's shocked. And I just told, and I funny enough, when I looked at each card, I pointed out everything that caused the 9.5. So it's just like you have to pay attention to the card a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think
I was reading somewhere, and this probably won't matter as much for sending stuff into PSA, but I've been seeing some people talk online that like when people are opening the packs, they're opening it like you're holding all 10, 11 cards in one hand and you're swiping up, taking a reveal each one. And somebody's saying if there's a signature in the back and you reveal that last card, you're kind of scratching some of the stuff, and that can cause surface issues. Just a little bit. I don't know if that.
I can see that type of reasoning, but it's like the I can understand, right, where someone would be coming with that. I would
Mhm.
just say just rip how you want.
Yeah,
Have fun with it.
yeah,
If you really care about grading, you're gonna open it in a way that know not to hurt it. But if you don't necessarily care about grading, just open it that makes you happy. That's I
I agree.
my number one thing when I've ever since I started vending is just have fun. It's meant to just I love seeing people have fun and just enjoying what they do. That's why like any packs I do get, I think one guy, he just never got a chance to open up a Spirit Forge, so I quite literally just gave him my Spirit Forge booster box
Oh, that's
because
so kind of you, bro. That
it's
is so.
just, I'd rather see people rip for fun.
I was
I
gonna
just
say
asked
you're
them, I was
like
like,
I
people are
was
fake,
just
just sell it to me.
yeah, and it's like rip it and have a good time with it. That's awesome, man. That's speaking. I guess that can kind of segue me in my next topic is like vending wise. What are some of the things you've kind of noticed with vending? I know T Fang's more the playables guy, so I know you don't really deal with
Oh
playables
man,
as much.
T-Fang's a big baller too. He
He's
don't
a
let him fool you.
don't let him fool me. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. That
respect
guy
that.
has some beautiful cards.
I know I've
It's
seen his
just
beautiful
really good
cards.
collector. He's a great collector, so he keeps them PC'd. But I like he's a funny guy. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I need to get next time I see y'all. What's y'all's next show? Because I have some playable stuff that I know my girlfriend was wanting to move from us ripping
I
our
will
Origins boxes
be.
that came
I
torn.
don't know where he'll be at, but I will be at San Antonio Collecticon.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't
Yep.
think I'll be able to make because you said that's this weekend, right?
Yes, that'll be
Okay.
this
I
weekend, and
won't.
then next weekend is Dallas Card Show hosted in Houston.
Dallas Car Show Houston. What? That's
Yeah,
so.
they're expanding.
They
Yeah,
are
they
expanding.
started. It's kind of like I think if people are aware of like Front Row Card Show, how
Hmm.
they're in different states on the west side. For us in the Midwest, we basically have DCS as
Yeah,
our.
Dallas Card Show is just like the main thing, and then like Collecticons or like a card party. Are you going to card
Yes,
party by chance?
I will actually be in Singapore for regionals.
Gotcha. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
unfortunately, they were both at the same time, and I'd
Uh,
rather go to
try and
regional
win.
over
Yeah,
any sort of.
just selling. I mean, one of them's work and one of them's. I completely understand. Like you're gonna have way more fun at the regional than
Oh yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
like just going to card party. But that is I know there is the one in Dallas. But that's awesome. I'll try and see next time I can kind of make it up to a DCS. Because
Mm.
it's been so brutal. The last time I went to, uh, I didn't realize it was like all sports. It's just like
Yeah,
it was.
DCS is like, yeah, it's mainly a sports show. I think for a lot of people, when I tell them why, like they ask me why is it so like major, it's quite literally Beckett is there for
Yes.
on-site grading,
Yeah.
and that is a large reason for anybody to go. Is this is your one-time opportunity to basically get your card in by essentially Sunday.
I was gonna say you can get
You
it
know?
done if you go first day. Like I've heard there's a line usually on that Friday, but you can
Oh yeah,
drop it.
that
You can drop it off and get it to you by the end of Sunday. Like in 3 days,
yes.
you can have your card graded, done, encased, ready to go. So a lot of people that have like like Radiance came out and it was the brand new set. People who pulled signatures, it would make complete sense to go there, pay the express, and be the first one. Hopefully, trying to hit a 10 or a black label, heaven forbid. Like so, definitely for DCS, Beckett is a huge reason that show has continued to just absolutely go bonkers. And there's so many people there now. I've still not really seen a whole lot of Riftbound. Here's the thing. I've seen a lot more Riftbound, but it's a lot more like the cosplay Riftbound, right? When I saw your Riftbound booth in T-Fangs, like y'all were like genuine vendors, fans of Riftbound, and you didn't have anything else. You were just Riftbound. So it's like a genuine experience. A lot of the guys I've been seeing now that have Riftbound is like, oh, I picked up some Riftbound, or like it's hot right now, I'm buying some. And it's a little bit
Basically
of
LARPing.
yeah, they are LARPing. They're literally LARPing. So it's a little disheartening to see that there are a lot of kind of the people that are in it for the wrong reasons. Like obviously you've made, obviously I'm not gonna like expose numbers or anything like that, but you've made a good deal of money, from doing vending and stuff like that. But it's like from a genuine passion of both vending and like Riftbound itself versus a lot of these people kind of jumping in. What is your take on a lot of the people that are kind of maybe jumping in for the wrong reasons?
Yeah, so funny enough, I do think for us, we do need people like that
Yeah,
because they're the ones that help the market, especially on the higher end. Um, it helps
be
move
more
it.
known. Yeah,
Exactly. So you do want these essentially, you could call them whatever you want, but people that
LARPers.
don't know Riftbound, LARPers essentially, it's actually good to have them there because I would love to see a room full of Riftbound, even if it's from people for the wrong reason. I don't necessarily care. um, it's good for just to see it, right? As a
It's good for the
vendor,
ecosystem.
a lot of my higher end stuff, unfortunately, like it's harder to move the high PSA 10s and stuff, unless it's like a vendor, maybe do like a trade or something like that. So it is good. I think that there's a lot more vendors that do want to get in on it, but they are just priced out
Mhm.
essentially. I think a lot of people paying attention to the market, everyone feels they're priced out. You're seeing on a RE PSA 10 say going for like 10 grand,
I
and
think one
so
just went for 13 recently, like a couple days ago.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like she keeps hovering around that number, and you know, I like seeing more people in it in general because it's just good for the game health overall, especially on the collector side. So I hope to see more. Funny enough, I have a controversy where people are just like, why would you want this to happen? And it's like I'm actually hoping that we see a large dip in the market of about like I'm hoping like 30% drop in the market overall because there's a vast majority of people that are watching Riftbound and want to get in on Riftbound, and that's including collectors. Like I've
Hmm.
talked to lots
Yeah.
of collectors, and they just can't justify paying, you know, this much money on a card that was half the price last month.
I was to
And
say a
so
lot of the REs and stuff from Origin, Spirit Forge,
even
just the
even
regular,
Timo,
even Timo,
yeah,
yeah, they're. I'm beginning of the summer, May. I was looking at them. It's like 150, $200, and now they're doubled in price. So I agree.
yeah. So it's like we do need to see another dip real quick for new people to come in, grab what they can, grab what they want, and then they'll actually help basically push it back up again.
I can get behind that. I really do like Riftbound, and I know some people can take this the wrong way, but like, at the end of this day, a lot of this stuff is business related. Like, as much as I love collecting cards, like I have this Ivern and I won't be selling this Ivern anytime soon that I got from you. I genuinely do like the art. It is like a business at the end of the day. So like more eyes on the game and the cards is ultimately good, even though like
Yes.
it sucks to see the wrong people get into it. Like we've dealt with One Piece and Pokemon. But at the
Yes.
end of the day, it is a good thing. More eyes means more opportunities to if you're in early, if you were buying stuff in January when I was telling people to buy in, when you were buying stuff, like if you bought that stuff, you're up 2x, 3x. Where a 30% drop for you, like if that were to come, yeah, it would suck to be like, my $1,000 card is now 700. But it's like you bought that for $300. Like
Exactly.
like like I was looking at launched exclusive RE. PSA 10 was like $150 a couple months ago, and now it's like a thousand. It was like 1,000, and then it dropped back down to like 500 or something like that. And it's like, oh yeah, it dropped 50% off its highs. But if I bought it $150 back in January when no one wanted it, it was $150. Like, so I definitely agree that like a small pullback is good. I think entering after Radiance, kind of a. I mean, I think Legacy will be popular, but I definitely think Reckoning, the Yordle set, Shadows of the Isle, maybe that will be decent. But I think seeing all those, I think we'll definitely start to hit kind of that mid awkward teenage years of where like they're just building on the game and not so much trying to like in the early sets they're trying to build like the hype and like get the game to survive. So
Yes.
they're front loading a lot of like the top stuff, and then
Yep.
there's like, okay, well, we still have to expand on the universe. We need a looking at some of these, like, what are some of these like bad, we need a Zac signature, we need a Rek'Sai, we need uh
Rise. I want
Zareth,
to see a rise day.
Rise, yeah. We need to expand on this. We can't just put Ari in every single set. Just like Pokemon doesn't
Yeah.
put Charizard in every set. They'll have a set dedicated to Charizard, like just like we're getting Radiance, which is probably gonna have Ari, Akali, Sarah. Like we're gonna have good characters in sets. But I think it's definitely healthy that we see like a little bit of pullback. I think 2027 for most card games is definitely going to be a little bit more of a down year. I think Pokemon's going to start seeing a little bit of pullback of the 30th. One Piece, I'm not really sure on. Bandai keeps releasing new games. We're getting Naruto. I,
Yeah, I
I,
think I think One Piece is like I still pay attention to the other card games. I think One Piece will have great like OP-17 with Loki and everything in it.
yeah, I'm
Oh
excited
no,
for
not Loki.
OP17.
Yeah, no, it's Rocks. Rocks is going to be in
Yeah,
OP-17.
Zebek.
And then
Yeah,
OP-18 is like a very interesting one because I think big name people are basically saying and they're leaking that it's a collab with Final Fantasy. So
I don't know if
everyone is
that's.
like,
I saw that too, but I think that's probably going to be like, I know like the rumor right now is it's a collab with Final Fantasy. I'm assuming that's going to be like with OP13 when they collabed with JJK. It's just the artist who does like a lot of the artwork predominantly will
Oh,
probably
that would
like
make sense.
Gege Atakami, the author for JJK, collabed with One Piece and did the
That
Demon
makes a
God
lot more
pack.
sense.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
assuming OP18 is going to have. It's going to have like art done by the artist who does like some of the artists who maybe do Final Fantasy work. That's my assumption. Maybe it is just like
Okay.
random Luffy in Final Fantasy holding the Buster Sword or whatever, or Skybird, whatever the
Or
heck the Final Fantasy
or you
stuff.
have like
That would
Tifa
be
Nami or
yeah,
something.
like that would be crazy. I'm not gonna lie, as a special set or even OP18, but I think it's more likely we just get like art drawn by them. So I still think Riot or not Riot, Bandai needs to figure out whatever they're doing with One Piece because right now, I there's no
It's
entry
in an
point.
awkward state.
It's in an awkward
Yeah.
state where it's like just this time last year, I was able to pre-order OP13 for like MSRP. People didn't want some of the sets, and then it's just been every single set is $200, and it's like all these sets I don't think deserve to be $200. Like
Yeah.
OP 14, 15, and 16, I was like whatever, and now OP 17 is coming out at $400, and it's like that's the same price as OP 13. It's just I don't know. I know you're not a One Piece guy, and I'm kind of rambling about it, but I just think it's in an awkward state right now where I'm like
Yeah.
I'm not buying any like One Piece boxes unless I find good value on them. Like I think OP15 when it was like $180, I thought it was a pretty good buy when I was back a couple months ago. But right now there's
Mhm.
like I'm looking around at stuff and I'm just not seeing a whole lot of stuff. But Riftbound I still think does like boxes are still really cheap. You have like as much as it's crazy to say Unleashed is $160, the reprint just hit. Like I was pulling these up. Spirit Forge is $180. People a month ago were like, "Oh, I want to buy Spirit Forge. Should I be buying it at 220?" I'm like, "Wait, it's getting a reprint. You got the
Yeah.
reprint. It's $185."
And it's still continuing. If people don't know, like it's a very big reprint. I do have numbers. I don't know if I should even mention them, but it's like
You can mention we can
the
mention it after stream if you
yeah,
want to tell me
yeah.
about them.
So there's a very large wave all of basically this month and partial next month. We're gonna see plenty of Origins and Spirit Forge. It won't necessarily, obviously, quote unquote, tank the price,
Hmm.
but it will make it so if you ever were wanting to grab the first two sets, now is your best chance to grab the first two sets
I agree.
for reasonable price, relatively.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if you don't deal with sealed, but have you ever like has anyone come up to you and like try to sell like a first wave box or anything like that? Has that started to take
Yeah,
on? Okay, I
yeah.
I like to
So
think
so a lot of
I kind of started that a little bit with the bold bottoms. Uh,
a lot of people have come to me with Wave One, and I just tell them the same thing. It's just I don't do sealed. I probably
yeah,
wouldn't be your buyer, and if I did happen to buy, I like to be upfront with everybody, and I just
yeah,
tell them like
you're an honest
I'm not
guy.
gonna pay you really, I'm not gonna pay you really good because I don't want this essentially,
Yeah.
right? So it's like better just not give a price. I don't do sealed. I do very little sealed. I think just so everyone knows what I do buy is I buy Worlds 2025 bundles,
Oh
and
yeah.
Arcane bundles. I think those are my favorite types of sealed. Those limited runs type of ones.
Over a
I also buy
thousand
starter
dollars.
decks. I'm that guy that buys those starter decks because I think they just look fun on a shelf. I went to Micro Center and I asked them if I could have their little display of the Origins starters, right? So I bought
Mm.
like they were just like, you want the decks or just a display? I'm like, no, can I take the decks out and just take the display? Because I like
Do you need a
I'm
Vendetta
very weird
display?
with it. I do actually.
I there's one over at my Walmart I can go grab for you if you need it,
Oh,
man.
bro, that'd be perfect. I'll
I
pay
have
you for that. I'll pay you the gas for it.
shoot. I'll look at it tomorrow. I'm going over there tomorrow because I think they're restocking. But I saw some the other day. I don't know if it's
I
still
would.
there, but it's just like the Shen. I'm guessing you're talking about the Shen and Zed like box that holds all the deck boxes. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about? Yeah, the
yeah.
stand.
Those things are
Okay,
so cool,
yeah.
man.
There's one there. I'll see if I can grab that for you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
But Worlds
Uh,
bundles are definitely over $1,000. You don't
yeah.
disclose your
So
position, but like I'm guessing you have a pretty decent position in something like this.
yeah. So I've been buying them since like they were first around for like 200-300 bucks. I just thought it was like, oh, this makes too much sense to pick up. But I think every year that goes like essentially you have to think. And when I think of collectors that do sealed, then when they get their hands on the 2026 bundle, if they can, hopefully, they're gonna want to collect all the year's bundles.
Hmm.
And so everyone's gonna go back into 2025. It's like, hey, I haven't got one yet. So that is going to drive the price up of 2025 bundles. Another interesting sealed product that I think is heavily overlooked, it is the vaults.
I
I think a lot
agree.
of people are not paying attention to the vaults, and the I think it was a developer at Sydney Regionals. He himself announced that they underprinted Unleash vaults. Like it's a known fact that Unleash vaults were
Damn,
underprinted because
$65 now.
they were just starting it out, and I think
Hmm.
65 is a great price because I compare them to ETBs
Yes.
when I look at them. And so when you are a vault collector in the future, you
Hmm.
have sets 4, 5, 6, 7. You're not going to be complete until you get set
All
3
of them.
vaults.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I personally think Unleash vaults are one of the most undervalued
Sealed.
products for sealed. I think 65 is an amazing. Anytime somebody comes up to me and I see them in the wild, I just pick them up. I even go on TCG Player and I'll pick one up like maybe every other week
Dude,
because
have you
I
looked at the
just
TCG numbers for these vaults?
I have not actually. I
Okay,
don't
I have it
too
up on
much.
stream. I'm just gonna read you off some of these numbers. Current quantity listed, and I'm gonna be honest, some of these are like kind of it's like they just have like the dividers and stuff in here, so I'm not like gonna count those. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 12. So let's say there is 24 total listed on TCG Player
Of the Unleash vaults.
of the Unleash vaults. They go up to reasonable prices, probably about $85.
Yeah, that's just like to me, low volume available prices
Seems like
relatively
they
good.
sell a couple. Glad I sunk 3 of those Unleash vaults last week. Plastic, a little meh, but got 6 of the Vendetta ones. I mean, I had 2 of these Unleashed ones. I opened one of them. I have the other one still sealed, and I won't be opening it anytime soon.
I would tell
Um,
anybody that hey, if you're ever going to be potentially collecting vaults, just grab your Unleash now
yeah,
because
it doesn't
it's going
hurt,
to be very expensive.
and
It
it's
does
not. They're not
not hurt.
reprinting these from what I've been seeing. Like they're just
No.
they're focused on the booster boxes. The booster boxes are the ones that are like kind of more of an issue in my opinion.
Yes.
Because they have the
And then the
seeded
Vendetta
hits.
vaults, I would say don't worry too much about those. I've seen them plenty of, so
I've seen quite
I
a
would
few
tell people,
Best Buy pop ups for them at like
yeah,
$35, but like even now they're like 43. You could probably pick it up for like 45 at a local show, just all cash if you really wanted
yeah.
to.
I'd say just grab one or two. That doesn't
Yeah,
hurt, but I would put more money towards the Unleash if you can find them for like
I agree.
50, 55.
But even these Vendetta ones, I mean, actually, there's a lot more of the Vendetta ones, but these did just come out, so it makes a little bit more sense. They're a little bit more expensive, but these Unleashed ones, man, I hadn't looked at these numbers. That's pretty crazy. That if somebody went and spent what's it, like $600 to $1,200, these would be a $200 vault, like
And it's hard to
overnight.
find, so
Overnight, like that would be
scared
pretty.
that this is gonna happen to us tomorrow,
Oh
but
my god, we're talking about it on stream here, and somebody here is gonna mention it and go and buy all of them. Because I know some of these people that watch the stream have like a casual $1,200 they'll throw around and just be like, yeah, yeah, I'll buy all these vaults. They know what they're talking about. I'm like, whoa.
yeah,
I
yeah. I
I
mean, I
mean,
think they're great for sure.
I think they're great. Like, and I hadn't looked at the TCG player data like that before, and to see how few of them are really listed, that's pretty crazy. Bought
Yes.
4 on eBay for 47 a piece. Lamau. See, people are already like 47 doesn't even sound that bad. This one is 50, but it's like $15 shipping, and you only buy one, so it's basically $65. So hey, Unleashed Vault's definitely something interesting. I know, obviously, you talked about stuff you pick up. I want to talk about some of the stuff you sell. So I mentioned earlier inventory. You obviously carry a lot of this like top tier signatures, best ofs. We've kind of talked about the metal cards, stuff like that. It's kind of usual. Some of the stuff you maybe is a little bit more unique here. Things like your Jinx Black Label, your Project K stuff in PSA 10s. Tell me a little bit about that stuff.
Yeah, so I guess that Jinx Black Label, it was more of like a fun purchase for
Yeah, for
myself.
fun.
Um, I really love Black Labels. I
Hmm.
think when you and I talked, I'm a huge supporter of Beckett.
Yeah,
Um, I love grading, so a lot of the Black Labels that people do see come from me, they're self-graded Black Labels. It's more of
that's
like
awesome.
it's my dopamine hit. I guess I hate to tell people is like my dopamine hit is I hit Black Labels. That's the fix I
I'm
get.
still trying to
So
hit it. I'm still trying to hit a Beckett 10 at this point. Like,
it's yeah it's
it's
rough,
brutal.
but Yeah, so black labels, that's, it's just something I'm a huge supporter of. Beckett, I think Riftbound is meant for Beckett, just like One Piece is. The quality control that Riot has is incredible. I've seen PSA 10 gem rates are about 80-90%, and I've seen plenty of people's PSA 10 signatures, and they would not even get a Beckett 9.5 in my personal opinion.
Wow.
So so I put more value behind Beckett cards. I even tell people my multiplier on Beckett is I look at the PSA 10 comp and I will add a 20% multipliers, right? So it's 1.2x is what I comp Beckett 10s in comparison to a PSA 10. So
And I think that's
they have more
fair.
value.
I think that's
They
fair.
just have more value overall from that. And then
I can get behind that.
the the trial decks, I think a lot of people still don't know what these are. These trial decks are from 2024 Macau
Let me pull up
TFT
for
event,
those viewers. Okay.
and this was a major TFT event that was happening, and this was Riftbound's first time ever introducing Riftbound cards. It wasn't even called Riftbound; it was called Project K, right at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they went there to basically have these players test their cards and just give feedback. These are the most underprinted products in the market. They were only about confirmed about 200 decks,
Wow.
trial decks sealed that were there at the time, and they were played with. They were messed around with. They were not sleeved. These are TFT players. They don't care about cards. And then once they were finished playing with them, most people tossed theirs in the trash. So, in true amount of this product available, I would have to probably say it's less than 50 of
That's
just the full sealed.
insane.
It could even be less. I know very few people who do have them still around, and the people that do have it, they are actually not necessarily allowed to sell them because they were gifted it to them by Riot.
Yeah.
So it's even more limited because the people that are actually trying to move it, they have to move it through intermediaries like myself, right? I'm just middlemaning for someone essentially, and so they stay private in that sense. And so the PSA 10 Vi that comes from a
Mm-hmm.
Jinx deck. So there's four decks. There's Jinx, Yasuo, Volibear, and Victor. Those were your Project K decks. And I would say I was able to purchase one at LA CollectCon. It was a Jinx deck. It was about 7,000 that I paid for it at the time. I thought it was a really good deal. I had a long-term play for it. I think they're very hot, but I think a lot of if anyone watches my Instagram, the
Yeah,
market
I
had a
saw I saw the recent one. That's kind of where I wanted to
yeah,
go with this. Are you okay sharing? Obviously, share it
yeah,
publicly
yeah,
on your
yeah.
Instagram. You sold
Yes.
some of those for like 50,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it was that
Wow.
Jinx deck has two very, very highly sought after cards in it. It's the Jinx Legend Project K
Hmm.
and the Jinx Champion. That Jinx Champion Project K is a unique art. She's laying on the bed, and that is the only art of that card ever. They never
Wow.
that is the only like way you're ever gonna get that card is through a Project K deck. And so when I sold it, I at the same time, so my intention with this deck, right, and I've told a lot of people is I was planning to send these all to PSA and just do full grading and just go for, when they're worth more later. At the same time that I was prepping them for grading, two of the PSA 10 Jinxes, so they were sold as a pair
Mhm.
for best offer was 80K, PSA 10 for both of them. And so my plan was, grade them, come back, probably, they'll be six figures by the time they come back. I got reached out by somebody who knew I had them. He knew I opened the box. He's like, "Hey, how much for the two Jinxes?" I told him not for sale because I wanted to grade them. He said, "Would you do 50K?" And so that caught my attention, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Obviously.
so, and so I told him I would still probably want to keep them just because it's my like anybody else would have said yes right away, obviously. But
Yeah.
for me, it was like I still want to grade them with PSA 10 and sell them as a pair of PSA 10. I think that just it would look cool. It would be really cool. And then he essentially offered me that plus a PSA 10 RE Sig Spirit Forge. So it was more of like an offer that you cannot refuse type
Yeah.
of
That's a
situation for
lot,
me.
man.
And I've told a lot of people. So when I made that sale, people reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, can you help me sell my project K? Can you help me sell my project K?" I've been straightforward with everybody, and I said, "Yes, I can help you, but the raw that I sold, that should not be necessarily considered a comp. That was more of a situation where there was one guy willing to pay very, very strong. Everybody else will not pay this strong.
Yeah.
This is
You
not a
you
comp. It's
found the
more of like
buyer.
exactly. And so, like anything in the future, like you're better off if you want that type of numbers, right? If you want the 60, 70, 80, 90, 100K numbers, I would recommend just grading them and then coming
And
back, and then I can
putting
help
them
you
on
move them
auction or something.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then if you want the raw sold as is, I realistically think they should be about like around like 40K in a raw, like right around roughly 40, 50K raw. If you hit them both in PSA 10, you can sell them for 80. So I'm just doing a basic 2x multiplier on them. But these decks are going to go down in history as like the most expensive thing you can ever get, and they'll be like the grail of grails for collectors. This is essentially for us. This is our alpha,
Yeah,
and
that's literally what this is.
it's not even beta.
So
It's just alpha. So
yeah, no, I think these Project K decks are so cool. What do you like? What do you have this like Vi one at? Like I see like pop 17 total.
yes,
Like
so
that's
there's
so small.
very small. There's only 3 copies of this Vi in the deck, which it is quite a bit for a single deck. There's 3 copies, but overall, right, it's very low.
I was gonna say just
Uh,
graded pop is 17 is a very small number. Like even though
very
if
very
there's
small.
decks with 3 of them, that means there's like what? If there's 200, there's 600 of these in total. Only 17 of them left graded at this point that aren't raw. That's pretty insane.
Yes, because like since the players played with them, their qualities are not good. So in terms of just getting a PSA 10, is I think they will stay under 50 pop for
Oh,
their
quite a
entire
while.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think forever potentially. Maybe they might get closer a little bit higher, but I think almost all Project Ks will be under pop less than 100. Um, this Vi, I'm asking about basically 4K OBO. She's less popular. She could go up for more. It's more of like just grabbing, people's numbers. I think it's a great
That
price.
that is
You know,
crazy because like they
yeah.
obviously have like the like last solds and it just goes to show how much stuff has run up since the T1 announcement. But like
Yes.
June 27th here they have a comp at 400 and it's
Yeah.
like stuff has like that was a month ago and it just goes to show how much stuff has run like crazy. I like this Vi. Like this Vi looks cool. I don't have 4K to spend on it. If if you want to do the 400, I can match that. But but I definitely think there's audience for stuff like this, like alpha stuff. Like people love
Yes.
alpha magic, people love alpha Pokemon stuff. One Piece we have the erratas and super pre-release. People enjoy this sort of stuff, and I actually do agree with it. These will probably go down as pretty good grails. Besides,
Yes.
obviously, just like the high end signatures, I think stuff like this is just for a deep collector who's like, everyone has the signatures, everyone has the Ari, people have the Baron, a lot of even, besides like the best ofs, which may be out of some people's price range, right? It's like I want something that like not a lot of people have, right? PSA Jinx, I tell you, oh, hey, there's 17 of these in existence. I have one of them. It's like to a collector who likes to show off kind of what they have and be like, oh, I'm unique. It's like only 16 other people in the world at this point in time, obviously if a couple more went up, have this card. That's probably worth 4K, maybe even more in the future. If you look at back in 10 years, if Riftbound's still around, alpha stuff's probably like this Jinx, or not this Jinx, this Vi likely could be like pushing 5 digits.
Yep.
So
And the current collectors in it, I would consider them to be the early ones because there's 2 of them that I know, and their goal right now with the Project K is they actually want one PSA 10 copy of every single card in the deck. So
that's pretty sick.
essentially, they want the Ruin, they want one copy of everything, and that's a beautiful dream. I think that'll be like a grail, and many years down the line where it's like, hey, what do you have for your collection? I just have this really really crazy alpha PSA 10 full deck set. That's fun story to
Play
say.
with it after.
Yeah,
Shuffle it a little
that's
bit.
good.
I definitely can see that. I'm mad. There was some Project K stuff I saw. Some of like the random items I think in there that I
Yeah,
didn't pick up that were like $150 PSA 10. And I'm like, I probably could pick this up. And then I didn't really know enough about it, and I never really looked into it enough. And I wish I had. So I definitely think the trial decks and the sales you've seen and you've done and orchestrated are awesome, and I think this stuff is really really cool. I did
Yeah,
have a
like even if you go to like my sold, like you'll see that two sold just now for on my consignment. There was like a
oh okay,
the Jinx that's in there. She sold for like 8 grand. The Victor
dang,
leader from that deck sold for 20.5. So there's the collectors. The cool thing about the Project K is also is each deck has a unique art. So Jinx deck has that special Jinx champion. The Volibear deck has a very special art Misfortune that you cannot find anywhere else.
mm,
There's two copies of that specific one in that deck. Victor has Victor Leader champion card in it, very unique art, and I believe Yasuo has one too. I just can't remember the exact champion. It might just be Yasuo champion himself
the Unforgiven.
in there. The Unforgiven, I think, has this
That's pretty
unique art.
cool. It looks pretty cool.
So so all four have like you know arts in them that you cannot find anywhere else, which is why they hold so much value behind them,
Oh yeah,
along with anything
I
else.
see the Jinx just sold for 8K.
Yeah,
That was like 5 days ago. That's pretty cool. I do have somebody with a question here, Mr. CJ. Wanted your opinion. He said, "Can you ask about Black Label pops? Just thoughts on getting a Black Label pop Soraka, but there's already 13." I mean, I have my opinion on like Black Label pops. I'll let you go ahead and just if you want to answer the question.
yeah. So I guess um, in terms of question, like I guess my I have a question back. It's like I guess what do you mean by black label pop?
Yeah, I
Like,
just kind of. I mean,
do you mean like
this is just kind of what I'm seeing. I'm assuming it's like is 13 maybe too high? Because I look at 13, I'm like, that's not a lot. Even though it's like Black Label, it's like, oh, normally Black Labels for Pokemon are like pop 1 or 2. Um,
yes?
but that's just
Um,
because most people
I
don't
would
submit Pokemon through Beckett.
I usually do comparisons to
Hmm.
black labels among other cards in the set. So for me, right, looking at Soraka black label, comparative to other black labels, I think Soraka is relatively high, right? When they start hitting the double digits, they're still low. And I will always tell people that the black labels are still low, but comparative to, for example, if you look at Aurelia in that exact same set,
Hmm.
she's still sitting at a pop 4. So
Wow.
when I look at the value behind a card and its black label, I look at how many are there and the exact percentage, right? So like Aurelia, for example, I'm looking at it here. There's 149 that have been graded. Only 4 hit black label. It's a 2.7% hit rate for a black label on her.
Hmm.
So what I deduct from that reasoning is she's very hard to hit. But then when I go to Soraka, we can use Soraka as an example. She is there's 104 of her graded and 13 hit black labels. So that's like a 12.5% chance to hit a black label on her at the moment.
That's
So
pretty
that lets
high.
me know she's relatively easy to hit as a black label. So her
Yeah.
value, black label values typically are you get a PSA 10 value and then you 5x it, and that is your bottom number for black label. The lower the pop, the higher the multiplier. So Aurelia, I can see her. It's also just who's willing to sell.
Yeah.
Um,
If somebody came to your table though and was like, "Hey, I got this Aurelia Black Label and a Soraka Black Label," yeah, just for
exactly,
example.
right? And you can be firm on your Aurelia price, but you might have a little bit of wiggle room on your Soraka price because she's a little bit relatively easier to find compared to Aurelia. Maybe your Aurelia is like it's 1 of 4 in existence, so the odds of that person finding it again much lower than finding another Soraka somewhere else.
Yeah, I can see that. Even then, I think Black Labels like obviously 13 like 10%, like there's 130, 10%, 12%, whatever it was, like that's still like you'd have to send in 10 of them to get a Black Label estimate.
Yep, Jin just hit
But
his.
oh, he just hit his. Has LeBlanc hit hers yet?
She has not. She is absolutely the hardest
I remember
card
you telling me
in.
about this.
She is by far the hardest card to just hit a 10,
A
a
10.
Beckett regular gold 10. She has a 7% gem rate to just hit a gold 10 with
That's
Beckett.
crazy.
Yeah. So like when I tell you the value that I see sitting behind a black label LeBlanc, I don't think people really it's also just, how much you care about the card,
Mhm.
but value wise, as soon as we see the first black label LeBlanc in the market, I think that whoever hits it, they can justify asking like 20x because of just how hard it is. They'll probably have the only one in existence for a very long time.
Yeah, LeBlanc is definitely one where we've talked about it. She's just the way her card is set up and like designed, it makes it really hard for the grader to grade it
Yes.
because there's no
Yes.
like second line to tell the centering. So
There's no
like
border on the right.
yeah,
It's
so they're
night.
just yeah, they just kind of have to like err on the side of caution pretty much every time and just be like, yeah, I think it's a 9.5. Like, I guess.
And then because she's dark, right? Her art,
Hmm.
it's very easy to see any sort of like edge wear,
Oh,
corner wear.
true.
I
Yeah.
think almost every LeBlanc I've looked through, and I've looked through like 50 plus LeBlancs. Every single one, either top left corner or bottom right corner, there's a little bit of whitening. Almost every single one I've seen.
Yeah. Compared to something like Soraka, which like obviously 10% is not a ton, but like she's a like all white card. And so
Exactly.
whitening hides a little bit easier on white cards than say a black card, obviously.
Exactly. And I
So,
can tell people right now, like a good comparison to all of this is everyone's most favorite popular character, which is Ari,
mhm.
Spearforge Ari. The amount of black labels of that Ari is 24.
Jeez.
Which is like, but it's still like there's 307 of her graded, so her gem rate's still 7.8%.
She has
But I
300
still,
at Beckett?
yes,
Dude,
yep,
how much PSA 10s? I think there's only like 500. That's actually really good for Rift or I guess Beckett that a
yes,
lot of Riftbound is getting sent there because that's a pretty hefty amount of them in existence that is being sent to Beckett instead of now. Obviously, a good chunk of those are probably like all the 9.5s are probably getting broken open and sent to PSA.
right,
But
exactly.
it is pretty interesting if you just take that at like raw statistical data. It's like that's like a good chunk of the PSA amount is just getting sent to Beckett. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll let you
No, no,
finish
you're
what you're
good, you're good.
saying.
And so yeah, so when it comes to just black labels, I think Origins black labels are relatively hard to hit. They've maintained less than 10 pop across the board. Some are still sitting at pop zero, like Timo Origin Sig
He
is
doesn't
still a
have a
pop zero to this day.
zero.
He has no black labels, and about 96 of him have been graded with Beckett so
Wow.
far, and still no black label.
Have you sent any in?
Spirit Forge, I've sent in two. I do have one in GCR, and I'm hoping that it will be the first. When I look at these numbers, if I see a 0%, my mind goes to there should be like one should be prepped. Like essentially, Beckett might consider because people think Beckett does pop control when it comes to black labels. I agree with him. People look they Beckett does look at pop control. It's not 100%. I don't want to get in trouble. Please don't sue me, but I do think they put that as a factor potentially, and so I think there is a like this Timo is prepped for a black label. Like we should see one sometime soon,
Yeah. Because at
and
this point, 0 out of 100 is that's
it's pretty crazy.
less than 1%.
Exactly. And so I think for anybody, listening in, if you have a clean Teemo Origin Sig, I would advise you to just throw it to Beckett and see if you're one of those winners that will get the first black label because it's a good chance right now to for them to let one through essentially. Spearforge, I think it's relatively easy to hit black labels in that set besides the Aurelia. All the other ones, actually, there's a few left, like maybe Yasuo. I think he's still sitting at pop zero, but maybe pop one now.
Mhm.
Um, but relatively, I think set two is a little easier to hit black labels. Set three, I think it's one of the hardest sets to hit a black label in because the art of the
They're all
cards
so
is
dark.
darker
They're all
and they're
so
missing
dark.
borders. And they're missing borders.
Except for
Set
Diana.
four,
She has a
except
border.
Diana. Diana's actually funny enough. She is the easiest. So she's just like the Ari from set two. She's the I have a client who hit the pop one black label Diana. I'm helping him move it. He's asking 45K on her while she
Jeez.
stays at the pop one. So
Yeah. The
um
nice thing about black labels, I feel, compared to like when people rush to be the first PSA 10, is like a black label is probably going to be there could be time where it might honestly stay in one for a while. Like if you
yep.
had the one Teemo and you got that, like let's say at the beginning of Riftbound's history, and you submitted it to Beckett, like you're still at the number one. Like if you had it, obviously. So I think
It's
premiums
funny that
on
you
one
say that
ofs. Why?
because the world's bundle Timo.
Yeah.
I don't know if I showed it to you when I had it at the time, but it's sitting at pop two. Both of those are through me. I hit both of those black
Oh
labels.
shit.
So the
I
first one I
I think you
hit,
might have showed me one of them when we were at the show. I think I
yeah.
saw him.
So the first one, this is like I think everyone's just like, why would you do this type of mindset? But it's like when you look at market at the time, it made sense. He was like I think a $500 PSA 10 card
Hmm.
when I hit the first black label pop one. I had lots of people reach out to me for him, but everybody was hitting me with the pop or the 5x multiplier.
It's
So
like
they're asking 3K,
2,500. Yeah, 25, 3K.
2,500. My best offer was like 3.5K, and I said no to those because I just told people as long as it stays pop one, I'd rather keep it than make 3K. 3K to me was just like not
That's
worth this
yeah.
rare grail. But then someone hit me with a 10K offer, and at that time, it's a really good offer. He's basically asking like 15x,
Yeah.
and so I took that offer, right, 10K, and relative to that time, I think that was a really really strong price
And that
for
helps
this
helps your
card.
business and your vending and everything. So it makes
Yeah,
sense.
I continue to do deals with the same guy because he really appreciated it. He was a genuine collector too, so
Mhm.
I felt comfortable selling to him. He actually sent me a picture. It's on a shelf, just portrayed. Looks beautiful. And then I hit the second one afterwards, and this was through my client. So we ran it through my account, but we did hit the black label on it. He
Okay.
ended up moving it for about like 43.5K,
Oh,
which is really good for it.
yeah,
I think
that's
it's one of the hardest cards to ever hit in a black label. Like quite truly, just it's a 1.5% black label hit rate and 11.4% to hit a Beckett 10 on it.
do we have any Ivern black labels yet?
Oh, good question. Let's check Ivern. I don't look at him too
Because I
often, but I
feel
do have.
I feel like Lilia is probably pretty hard to hit as well because she's like all black, so any whitening just immediately shows up.
So there's only been 10 Iverns graded,
Okay, that makes sense.
and only one has hit a Beckett 10. All the others consisted 9.5s, and this guy unfortunately got a 9.0. I feel bad for that person, but
9.0 is rough.
yes.
9.0 is
So
rough.
I think he just needs a bit, like, I think more. A lot of people during Unleashed time when they got in, these were PSA graders, so
Yeah.
a vast majority of Unleashed has been going towards PSA as opposed to Beckett. That explains why there's such low, just grading done through Beckett for Unleashed.
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of the Unleashed cards, especially when Unleashed came out, like we've talked about earlier, was just not a super beloved set when it came out, and I kind of talked about that it was just people weren't gonna like these cards. Obviously we've seen a little bit of a flip. Diana's now overtaking LeBlanc. I still think LeBlanc probably should be worth more. Um, but like Ivern, I think even though I don't think the character is all that popular, I think he might even be. Did I have him in D tier for the tier list? Yeah, he's in
Oh
D
no.
tier. I put him in D tier, but his artwork is so phenomenal that I think it really
Yeah.
does good things for the card. And I think somebody down the line who, like, I know I've talked to. I don't know if you do you know PokeChuck? He has a Riftbound channel. Uh,
I don't think
it's like
so.
Chuck. I think he goes by Chuckbound on there. But he's talked about it and talked about the Ivern art and how that's like one of his favorite cards from the set as well. And I agree. I think it's just like one of the better arts, and I just like it personally. So
Well, the beauty, a lot of history with that Ivern. Also, the artist Michelle Mock,
hmm
she was interim director for the artist side of Riftbound.
hmm
So she's actually stepping away, and they're gonna have an official
like retirement or
artist. No, more of like she was just there to kind of help out at the early times, I believe. I don't know the full story, but she was just interim director, and now they have a dedicated director who's also been making quite a bit of the art. So I think seeing her Ivern art, I wish to have seen more, but basically this will be one of our last times ever seeing her art in Riftbound.
that's
She might come back in the future. She might be just doing art
like
on the side,
yeah.
but we don't know.
Uh, okay, yeah,
And
well,
it's one thing I love about these cards is I think a lot of people don't pay much attention to the artists themselves. I do quite a bit of research on these artists, and some of them I ask them why did they choose this art. Others I'm just like, wow, this is beautiful. Try and do history. I don't want to name somebody, but there is a card in Unleashed, um, overnumbered, and I think it was just I'm just like, why did we choose this art? I don't want to say it because then
I'm
you're gonna
not.
find the artist name.
Well, I'm not gonna name artists obviously, but I'm not a fan of like the Poppy art, the Jin art, the Yi art. I'm not a fan. Even though Lilia to some extent, I'm just not a fan of those arts.
Really?
Um, I
I
like
actually like those arts. There's only one art in there
really.
that I just really hate, and I'm just like,
Is it Kha'Zix?
no, I can't say it because then people are
Okay,
gonna
fair
go
enough.
look
Fair
for the
enough.
art
I won't. I
name.
won't. I won't ask for it. But like, I love the Rengar. I love the Ivern. The Vex is cool. The Vi is cool. I'm not a fan of the Diana either. Like half the like, and it's not. I wouldn't even say it's all the popular ones. Like the Pike is badass. The Ivern. Those two are my favorite in the set. And LeBlanc is up there in
Yes.
Vi.
I'm
Um,
working on a bike black label as we speak, actually. I just sent one because I got a 9.5 on Surface. And so I'm GCRing it to. I think they didn't give it to me yet because it's just, there's only 30 of him graded so far.
mhm. Is GCR, is that like they review it?
Yes, so GCR, it's a graded card review. I guess
Okay, that's what I
I
thought.
can explain a little bit on it, but basically what you're doing is you're sending them your card in its slab, and you're asking them to just recheck it and
Hmm.
potentially bump it. They will never push it down a grade. So if you have like a Beckett Gold 10 card and you GCR it, it can only have two options. It'll stay as a Gold 10, or they can potentially bump it up to a black label for you. When it
Has
comes
that
to
worked
hitting
for
black
you?
labels, yes. So
Okay.
my highest chance of hitting black labels has been through GCRs. This is, I guess, like you could call it insider info or like just rare info that most people don't know, but it's like I look for. That's why I love buying Becca 10s,
Hmm.
because I look at the card, I double check the card. Do I agree that it's a Becca 10, or do I think it's actually good enough to hit black label? I will pay you full market and just take the risk on sending it for GCR.
Yeah.
Now, you can send it in as many times. I've told people I have submitted one card 7 times to Becca and it finally hit a black label. And so it's just the amount of
Jeez.
times you send it in and the amount of conviction that you believe in the card deserves its black label. Luckily, when you do a GCR, they attach it with a note
Hmm.
as to why it did not bump up, right? So if it's a centering
Oh,
issue, they're going to tell you if it was front left right, front top bottom, back left right, back top bottom. If it's edges, they're going to circle the area that they saw edge problems. Corners, same thing. They'll circle the area that they saw where the corner was had an issue.
that's awesome.
Surface, they'll circle a spot that they saw something on there. So if you see any of those three, I would say just grab a black light, a flashlight, and just really hone in on that area. And do you agree with them? Do you see something like even the smallest little white mark is enough to just not black label?
What do you think like the most common, like easiest one to be like, oh yeah, they got like if it's a Beckett 10, it's like, oh, centering is the one that got a 9.5. Let's go ahead and send that in. Like, is that
I
the
would
easiest one, or
say
is it surface
the
or?
surface is the absolute easiest
Mm,
comparative to all the others because the odds that there's a real surface issue, it's in my opinion low.
yeah,
Um, it's mainly just a gatekeep. They just don't want to give out the black label yet. So you just people could say, oh, they just want more money from me.
that's also probably a little true.
That's and we got to give them what we got to give them. So that's what I tell myself. So I always love looking at 9.5 surfaces and just reviewing the card, making sure I actually don't see any surface problem because there I think people have problems with print lines. So just make sure you don't see the print line that
Yeah,
is in there. Centering would be second easiest. um I try and avoid edges and corners because most of the time
you can't
those
really
are
look at
legitimate.
that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like edges and corners is normally the easiest stuff to like inspect before you send. Like we have this Uta here that like on stream. This got an 8 on surface, but like centering 9.5 and the edges and surface both 10s. So it's like
Yeah.
I didn't know about this GCR stuff, so I might go GCR this for her and see if it at least like would bump up to like a 9, right? Or like
Yep.
maybe even get up to, cuz like I'm looking at the surface and it's like it looks pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, so typically when you get an 8 on surface, it's because there's like a crimp or like there's a serious deformity on the card for them
Yeah.
to like be like, hey, this is not good.
Yeah, an 8 is pretty low. That's like the I've never seen something like that. So, and then somebody here, real quick in chat, CJ asked if GCR is always better than cracking and resubmitting, and then he said, "Let's go. I have an Origins RE sig with all 10s and a 9.5 surface." So that was his
Oh,
question.
that's a really good one to send in for GCR for one, and second, it just depends, right?
Hmm.
Um if it's a 10 with 1.95 and it's either centering or surface, I would tell you just GCR all the time, never crack.
Yeah,
If it's a 9.5 and it's surface and centering, you have two options. You definitely crack it for sure, but then you can, if you double check it and you really just don't see a problem, I would tell you to send it back to Beckett, or
just
you
send it
just
to
cross
PSA.
it over into PSA because a
Yeah,
Beckett 9.5 typically correlates to a PSA 10, especially when it's centering and surface. I have a 100% gem rate with PSA when I cross over like that.
Yeah, I've
Um,
heard it's almost automatic for One Piece and Riftbound. Like, I look at PSA gem rates and like they're like 85% all the time. Like,
yeah,
you have to send something scuffed to get a 9 at
I
PSA.
have 100% PSA gem rate. That's why it's to me it's just boring.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
agree with you. That's why like I'll send Pokemon cards to PSA. I have a boatload of Pokemon cards I'll send to PSA because the PSA gem rates are like sub 60%. Like some of the old Pokemon stuff from like early Gen 9, like Paldea, is like 10% or less, which is like, oh,
yeah.
that's like pretty low for a Pokemon card. So I definitely I like Beckett. Like I just dropped off my set over number that I've had forever that I pulled. I dropped that
Oh,
off at
nice.
Beckett. I did it. So I was literally on the Beckett website looking at like, do I want to buy this set? I was looking at that and maybe the round one cards, and then they announced like literally I got the tweet. It's like value is closing, and I was like, oh god. So I just went and bought the set right before they closed the tiers on the website. So I submitted it yesterday. I turned it in. They were like, they're like, you bought this the day we closed. And I was like, I was on the website looking at stuff, and then I got the tweet, and I finished my order, and then was like done. I didn't even try and put the One Piece cards in. I was just like, we're doing set, we're calling it a day.
Yep,
So
that's fair. That's fair.
I have him going just in value tier because he's like it's just the regular over number. It's not the like expensive one. So like I'll see what he gets. I'm expecting probably a 9.5 just because it's Beckett. But if I got a 10, that'd be pretty awesome. I think he looked pretty clean. I don't know if you do anything. I took like a Q-tip and just kind of lightly brushed any dust and stuff like that off of the card just to make sure.
Good. Yeah, that's smart.
Just to make sure, because like
I do the same thing, like microfiber cloth, and just
you just got to be gentle with it. Just like a slight. You don't put any liquid or stuff like that.
especially just Riftbound because they collect dust.
They do.
Riftbound cards on the back collect dust very easily.
Yeah. So I just did a slight little clean off. Obviously not the most expensive card. Even if it were to get a black label, it'd probably be like $2 to $3 grand. But yeah, it'd be cool to have if I did hit that for whatever reason. But I
I
did
hope you
want.
do, bro.
Yeah, I hope so too. I did want to ask about your opinions. Obviously, we've talked about the signatures a lot. What do you think the future of just like regular over numbers are?
I think they're still strong because when
Mm-hmm.
you look at signature and overnumber, the only difference is there's a signature on
It's a
there.
signature,
I
yeah.
think I think for those collectors that really like just care for the art, and there's quite a bit because when I do my vending, I move more of my overnumbers than I do my signatures and higher end, because a lot of people just enjoy the art. They want to collect their favorite character in its overnumbered portion. At I would say before it was much cheaper. I think Ari's were like $300-400 overnumbered, the most expensive at the time. Now it's like your overnumbers are costing a few hundred,
Yeah,
which
they've gone up a lot.
they have, and I think it's still going to be that aspect of the market that'll move the most. It's the most liquid part because
They're
you have
cheaper.
players
Yeah.
that are trying to max rarity their decks, but they don't want a full max rarity,
Yeah, they're not going with
and
signatures
then
for the set or anything like that.
exactly, and then you have brand new collectors that are still coming in like every day, right? New people that are just getting in. They were like, okay, what do I grab? Everyone that's asked me what should I go for, I would tell them focus on over numbers if you're trying to go for like the relatively higher end stuff of your card. And alt arts I think are heavily undervalued to this day. I just don't see why a epic alt art is like $5. So
Yeah,
I think
I
over
still
numbers will
agree with
still
that.
stay. They're still going to be around and they're still going to hold strong value. I will say those big gambling companies. I think if you've ever heard of like those repackers for Pokemon,
I've been
they've started.
messaged. I've been messaged. I won't name names, but I've been messaged by a couple of them for like some sponsors. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
So those guys, they've now opened the market towards
Riftbound.
Riftbound PSA 10s, and they've
Yes.
reached out to me being like, "Hey, can you help us repack?" And funny enough, I've told them not really because that's boring to me to just.
They're paying like 95% market. They literally just they will take whatever inventory you have, I'm sure, and pay very strong because they're making
Yep.
so much money on the back end from uh
Yes.
these things. And I mean, they're dude. Not only they're paying strong for like the vendors and like they're paying pretty strong for influencers and stuff like that too.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. And that like whatnot streamers also are just getting into it. So these
Yeah.
overnumbers, that they will have a spot in the market all day, every day. I think they will always be there for sure. They're I personally see them as like staples for the vast majority, especially if you're a vendor. You need to have overnumbers in your inventory because that'll be your cash flow
Yeah,
essentially.
because the average consumer is going to be like my girlfriend and I walking up to your booth, being like, "Those are cool cards." Uh, like I'm looking here at Unleashed, the Poros. I'm sure you've had quite a few Poros that have moved very quickly through
They move
your inventory.
same day.
Yeah, I was
Every
about to say
single Poro I
Poros
have,
move
same
insanely. I
day.
would assume
Yes. I have
because
never kept a Poro for more than a day. Like people ask me every single time I'm at a show, "Do you have any Poros for sale?" I have to tell 'em most of the time I've told people no just because they sell so fast.
yeah, and that's because they sell so quickly for you, you're able to offer more competitive rates. If somebody does show you and be like, "Yeah, I'll offer you 90% on that," like I can
Oh
sell
yeah.
it same day. So like Poros obviously have done really well. Your takes on like stuff like Baron or like some of the like playable over numbers from like Spirit Force or like the new like connecting. How are the connecting arts from Vendetta doing for you?
I think it's still new,
Yeah,
but they have moved very fast for me.
I'm
It's
guessing in
mainly
sets,
like
right?
yeah, so funny enough, it's actually people would want a piece of something they've already pulled, right? So say someone
Yeah,
pulled
okay, that makes sense.
Gangplank, they're asking me if I have Alawi, so they just have to pay for the one Alawi to connect them. So
Mhm.
I think on the vendor side, it's better to just move them as pieces for people who have opened stuff themselves. They've gotten pieces of their connecting arts. They need to essentially finish connecting their arts. I think that is the way that people are doing them. I think they're amazing. I've been buying Shens and Zeds and just stowing them away. Like people ask if I'm selling them, I'm like, no, I don't want to sell them. These are my PCs.
I say
But
what?
all the others like Swain Aurelia, I think are really popular. Alawi Gangplank, I think is just really amazing. A lot of people want those.
Well,
I think the
you've seen there's the bounty right now, $20,000 bounty for
yeah,
Gangplank and
that's
Alawi.
that's crazy. I think that's
S-
like I low-key think that's the that one League streamer that plays Gangplank main.
It
I
might
could
be
be
of him.
wrong.
It might have been
I
him, but I
could be
just
wrong.
remember seeing somebody say, "I'm putting 20,000 on Gangplank Black Label." So that has a lot of people going and buying his card just to like try and
Black Label
chase,
it.
be the first one to get the Black Label. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of these and like, there's a lot of good ones. I pulled the Nasus one, of course, which is like the worst one.
I
Like
think
I
that
would,
Renekton looks absolutely amazing,
I
by the
think that's
way.
what I'm saying. I'm like the Renekton one is so much cooler than the Nasus one.
And it's cooler
And
than
it,
the stupid leader also. No
dude, the
offense to the
leader.
leader.
No, I hate
Over.
the leader. I've expressed my distaste for the leader.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of that one, but I do agree. Like, there's a lot of connecting. What do you think about the SPs? Like, and then there's a question here. Let me know how you feel about the SPs, and I'll go to this question here.
I think the SPs are undervalued. So they're undervalued and correctly valued because they are in the alt art slot. So there's plenty of them
Mm-hmm.
available.
Yeah.
I honestly think that the SP's value is should be where even regular alt art should be closer to. Like it's hard for me to see like Ari $100. I would buy her all day, every day.
Yeah.
I think that's just like really good for a very popular character. It's a unique skin. You won't see more Wild Rift skins coming out in sets in the future. So I think in today's market, Ari, Kais, all of them are relatively undervalued. I think they're great buys. I would tell people if you find them. I bought someone's collection on Saturday at one of my shows. He had about 20 SPs in there. Literally 2 hours later, another guy comes up. He wanted to buy all 20 of my SPs, full price.
Damn.
So there's definitely extremely high demand for them, and everybody agrees that they're very undervalued.
Yeah.
But I did see the Becca 10 RE sell for like 1500. I do not agree with that type of
Premium.
comp.
Yeah.
Yes, I really think she should be in a PSA 10 around the $400-500 range. So about like $600 or $700 in a Becca 10 would be my personal opinion towards that comp.
That's right. That's kind of where I thought she'd be. I really did think she would be. Well, I thought price wise, I thought she'd be in like the 150s to 200 price wise. And then when I
Yes.
realized she was in like the alt art slot, I kind of realized that was a little bit high because I didn't know if they were going one piece SPs, like there was only gonna be one per case. But they're still like they're doing pretty well. $100 for Ari, about $90 for Kaisa. That's pretty good
Yeah.
numbers. I think I agree with that. Like $500-600 for probably the PSA 10, and then about like
Yep.
700-800 for the Beckett. Kind of, I think, feels fair for these cards. But it's good to see from like a vendor POV that these are moving. Like these aren't just bricks that like when Vendetta reprinted just a couple months ago, back in May, and everything sank. Like the REs were like back under like $120. Like cards were sitting. I talked to you, and that's when I met you for the first time. Stuff was still selling like crazy. The collectors were there. The demand was there. Like this
Yes.
stuff is not just like I feel like, and I know there's some people in the chat that maybe collect Dragon Ball. I'm not a Dragon Ball fan. That one feels very speculative. Like where it's like there isn't really a huge Dragon Ball card fan base. Same for
Yeah.
Pow World right now. Like people are like obsessing over Pow World. I think that's so stupid. Even Lorcana to some extent, I think is like nobody cared about Lorcana until very recently. But Riftbound feels very organic, where it's like there's a natural demand, there's a natural player base, like natural people want to get in. So
Yep.
I definitely think it's going to be pretty good.
It's
Mr.
also
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
okay.
go ahead and say what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I was gonna say it's also just like one thing I've noticed is there's a lot of people that think that there's market manipulation in
Yeah,
Riftbound,
there just
and
wasn't a lot of supply.
it's just supply shock that's being hit. And I just truly tell people it's just we don't have the same amount of demand as last week, essentially, right? The demand just keeps naturally rising on a weekly basis at the
Mhm.
time, which is why, to me, prices were adjusting, not being manipulated,
I
relatively,
mean,
in my personal
there
opinion.
was just people entering the market that like hadn't
Yep,
been in it before. Then we're like, oh, these are pretty rare. Let me buy 10 of them. And it's
exactly.
there's people in my Discord right now that I think one of the people in the Discord went and bought like 20 of the Vayne signatures on TCG Player. He just was like, oh yeah,
Smart.
this is undervalued. Has 20 of them. I think he sent a couple to Beckett, some to PSA, or whatever the reason was. But it's like him doing that because there's just not a lot of an existence. Like I say, signatures are almost like a serialized card. I don't like most of these. 2,000? Does 2,000 sound? Maybe three to five, 3 to 5,000 of each signature in existence.
Yeah,
Like
and that's how I think there are. Yep,
that's
amount
basically
wise.
a serialized card. Like if you go and
Yeah,
buy every single copy that exists on TCG Player, if you buy 20 copies, which are all the ones listed, yeah, you're gonna increase it to $3,000. Like it's just there's not a whole lot of them out there. So I agree. It's not manipulation. It's just newfound demand of people trying to get in, whether that be collectors, investors, speculators, whatever the reason is. New people and new money is flowing into the ecosystem, and that's causing spikes in the price. So
yes.
I definitely let me go ahead and get to this question. Mr. Fed here asked a question. He's not a federal agent, but his name is Fed. Getting a stream late, not sure if it's been asked. How do we feel about tag teams for Riftbound grading? Pristine versus regular 10, especially with it coming with a report on why I got X grade. Thoughts on tag?
Tag cards for Beckett's. That's the question, right? Tag tens.
It might be tag team tens versus pristine because I think tag has two tiers, but you can compare it to Beckett's if you want. I know you probably have maybe had both in your vending and like can give
Yeah,
perspective on both.
I would just say there's just they're harder to move. There's
Yeah,
less people that are interested in tag. I think a lot of reaction. I did do tag grading a while back with my cards, and it's a lot of people thinking they're great, but they would not pay for it. They'd rather buy the
yeah,
PSA 10.
yeah, for the
So
same price.
tag is truly just like if you're a pure collector who does not care about prices, you literally have to put price aside and just say I want this in a tag 10 for my own personal um, reason, and never have a mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna try and move it if it goes up in the future. I would say they're great, but in terms of just value wise, I would steer clear of tag. I think the cards do look great. I think the slabs are beautiful,
Hmm.
but there's just no demand there.
Yeah, it's the same for CGC. I feel like I have a couple
Yes.
CGC, which, like I said, I was telling in another stream, I have some CGC pop ones, but not just CGC pop ones, like pop ones in general. And CGC just is the only 10 in existence of cards, um, for Pokemon cards, mind you. And I won't, like I said, I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want people to go in and trying to submit a bunch of them. But it's like CGC. Like I have that pop one, and it's like if I was realistically want to send it, that's the only one in existence. It might have some value, but even then, it would probably have more value if I sent it to PSA and it crossed over as a 10. Like just
Exactly.
how it would be.
And then along with like CGC pristine tens,
Of
right?
course,
I
Fid.
think people would rather pay for the black label or the Beckett 10. It's just
Yeah.
Beckett already has a strong hold in that market when it comes to those pristines.
Yes,
People would
exactly.
much rather see a beautiful black label 10 compared to a perfect pristine CGC 10,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
CGC 10, tag pristine, SGC if people even care about SGC at this point. I think
They do
they
not.
grade like 50 cards a day, I swear.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Maybe Ace if you're really into the connecting artwork, which yeah, if you're a collector,
I think
I think you
I
can
think
get
Ace
some.
has I think Ace is like an international
Yeah, they're UK.
interest.
They're UK.
Yeah, so
But they
in
do
UK they're
the
very
yes, they're if you're in UK, they're very liquid, but like overseas nobody really cares. They are cool. Like I think the like connecting artwork like it's like expanded artwork. It looks cool. But
yes.
yeah, over here in the States it's not going to sell as well. Like that would be one like if you're going to like London for a regional, bring some Ace slabs with you. I'm sure they'd
Yes, and
sell.
that's the same thing with Singapore regional. So the Singapore market, it's super heavy in the PSA side because Beckett's not international. It's actually more. It's only international towards black labels because everyone knows what a black label is. But when it comes to Beckett tens and 9.5s, internationally they don't do well because these people are looking at this and would much rather just get the PSA 10.
Yeah, cuz it's
Uh,
universal.
it's universal,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Murmur says he just bought 2 Unleashed Vaults, 2 Signature Shens, and 3 Crystal Aries and said we're the real influencers. So we're making money moves right now. We're making money moves.
I think Shen is just a really cool art. I love the armpits, man.
I like it.
Nessus and Shen armpit.
I like the
It's funny.
Shen. I like I said, I'm all money set aside for a Nocturne whenever that comes.
Yeah.
I'll keep collecting like Pokemon's in a downturn. I'm a collector of Pokemon at heart, and then I do Riftbound for investing purposes. I collect the boxes and I have my vaults, but right now there hasn't been like besides the Nocturne and a couple arts like the Ivern that have really and the Pike too. I'd love to get the Pike. Most of them haven't really caught my attention. There's definitely good artworks and they're good and the cards are cool. But like for collecting wise, I need the characters I want, and obviously none of my characters haven't come around yet. So
Yes.
my
And
only
I love that
oh
collecting
yeah,
mindset.
yeah, no, I think it's a good mindset and healthy mindset to have for collecting and
Yes.
stuff like that. Wang says my only concern for signatures will be the more will be added with each reprint wave. What's better in your opinion, sealed box or graded cards? Well, okay. Is it okay if I take this one real quick?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate you. So this one's pretty simple, Wang. Like, and this is just like personal bias, whatever you want to say. I'm not telling you what to do, but what I'm doing. Boxes are a sealed commodity. They're always going to be open because people are always going to gamble them. Graded card pops can only ever go up. Sealed boxes, once they're out of print, they'll only ever go down, right? Because they'll either get stashed away, opened, destroyed, flooded, whatever happens to them. So sealed box, like investing wise, like is the boring thing, right? They're not going to make the huge swing in gains. They're not going to go from like $500 to $1,000 overnight for the most part. You're going to set your origins box, like, or I guess I shouldn't say your, but like I'm going to put my origins box in my closet. I'm going to set it there. I bought it at MSRP, did like $200. Set it in my closet. Forget about it. I'll come back 10 years. It'll probably be worth like $2,000 or more. Graded card, likely it will probably also increase, but there'll be more upswings. If you're playing like the long game, maybe the card is just worth the same you bought it 10 years later, right? It's not guaranteed to, I think, increase in value the way that a box would, because the box will, it's decreasing supply, while the supply of the graded card or whatever could ultimately go up. It's like with Pokemon, the Umbreon, there continues to be new Moonbreons added every single year. Yes, there's less of them each year getting graded, but there's still more of them being added to the total supply. And once that gets added, people are selling it, doing whatever they need to do. So, like, boxes are, I think, more of the, like, slow, patient one, while, like, the graded card's more of the volatile thing. So, that's kind of where I'm at for that. If you
Yeah,
did want...
I
Oh,
agree.
yeah, I was going to say, if you did want all these, I would assume he's probably the same way. So, like, for vending, that's the reason most vendors prefer cards. It's just because they can take their returns and flip it. Well, sealed, like, I've vended as well. Sealed sits there. Like, you don't just sell sealed, like, easy. Like, a lot of scalpers and people who buy sealed, they're like, oh, I can make a quick flip. Sealed is not easy to just turn like that. It doesn't move like cards do. Cards at any time, like, you can walk up to a vendor, and yeah, you might walk up to a couple, and it might take a couple attempts to talk to somebody to, like, get the right vendor that'll pay the right percentage, but you can eventually find it. Sealed, I've walked around Dallas Card Show before with sealed. I think the last card show, I was walking around with an SPC that I'd bought, and I didn't want anymore, and trying to find somebody who would take it, just even take it, like, even offer a percentage, was non-existent. I eventually just found one person that said, I'll buy it, and they offered like 70% cash, and I was just like, yeah, it's fine. I just wanted the cash because I made my
Yeah.
profit, did whatever did whatever I needed to do. So it's just one of those things where sealed.
I think it's also, yeah, sealed is just uh, a really good long term investment.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm sure you
so a
have
lot
some
of
sealed
people,
put aside. Just yeah.
yes,
Just cuz.
because it's yeah, just cause right. It's like
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason not
it'll
to.
go up once it's out of print. All sealed
Yes.
is like I tell people,
It's
I
the
compare
boring
these things to
stuff.
stocks sometimes.
Yeah, it's
I
the
tell them,
boring
hey,
stuff.
sealed is your bond. It's
Yeah.
your bonds. Um, Graded wise, I think his like when your question on the signatures, the amount of reprints will not push the amount of signatures up significantly enough to destroy their or reduce their prices heavily because it's back to like you have 1 in 5 case hit chance at a signature and you have a 1 in 12 chance of hitting your specific signature. That rate is just like the amount of, I guess, RE signatures that get put into the market. Obviously it depends on how much sealed actually gets thrown into the market, but you're not gonna, the total REs isn't gonna skyrocket all of a sudden. It's more of like you'll see like maybe 4, 5, 6 more get put into it. So it's like it's the signatures just specifically to Riftbound. I think they hold their value through the difficulty of grading or through the difficulty of just pulling the specific signature.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like even then with like Riftbound signatures are so difficult to hit like you said. You're looking at 130 to 160 cases or something like that is the pull for a specific.
Yeah,
Like it's really
yeah, it's
hard.
insane.
Let's say they reprint and it's like was it 600 cases? That means what 60 or no? What was the math on that? It's like 60 1 in 60 is to hit one specific one. Oh god, is my math that bad? That's like 10? Let's say 10 new signatures are added for each legend. That's not a
Yep.
lot. That's not a lot
No.
for a 600 case thing. So you just have to look at it from that POV of just like Riftbound signatures are really, really rare. Like
Yes.
I think that the question isn't are the signatures going to continue to be rare, is if the demand's going to be there. And we talked about the beginning of the stream for the most part about the demand is I think the demand will be there because just the demographic who grew up on League is aging into the highest earning years of their career. Most people
Yeah.
make the most money at 40 to 50 years old. Like that's their
Yep.
prime earning years. And then once you get like 55, it drops off because you get close to retirement. Maybe you retire from your previous job. You have to take a lower paying job. Maybe you lose your job. Like I know my mom, she lost her job and then she was in her 60s. A lot of companies don't want to hire a 60-year-old for a higher end position because they know they're going to have to pay retirement in 5 years.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
it gets difficult to find these people and like or not find these people sorry like these people they're aging into the demographic and older people they're going to age out and have trouble finding jobs and doing retiring and all that sort of stuff. So that's why I think even though I like both sealed is the boring one. If you're just a collector pick what up whatever, that's probably the best advice is if you just want to collect what you like you'll
Yep.
probably see the best return because you'll be happy at what you picked up.
Yeah.
So
Just shoot. Just pick up what you like. Is what I would tell a lot of people. Um,
exactly.
it's just I guess just one little take with the signatures
Yeah.
is there's like a concern where right now with how fast there's so much hype driven products coming out every
Mm-hmm.
single month. Uh, there's I think a question I have is like will you know it's like next month's taste is different than last month's taste from
Mm-hmm.
what
Yes.
I see, especially when I'm vending. It's like people just want the new stuff. Like right now, no one cares for Spearforge anymore like they used to. Spearforge had a huge hype the last month or
Everyone's
so.
talking about Vendetta. So that's the
Vendetta,
new stuff.
Unleashed, and Origins are like the talk of the town essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with sealed. Like after a while, the price will go up on these older ones because you can't get them anymore. So it's yeah, it's like Sigs and sealed. It's I think there's so much hype driven right now that in the short term, people just would rather have the latest thing. Like when set 5 comes out, I don't think many people are going to pay attention to set 3, 4,
3 and
1 through
fours.
4.
I
Yeah,
think one will always have a little bit of appreciation just because of the first one. I think
yeah,
Spirit Forged, Unleashed, and Vendetta. Once Split 5 comes out, I think we'll kind of see a little bit of a pullback in all those. Not like pullback as in like they drop in price, but like pullback in demand. As in
yes,
like people won't be wanting to go out of their way to hunt those because they'll be focused on the newest thing.
yep,
FOMO is the biggest thing in the entire world. Um, People love to get the newest thing and feel like they don't want to miss out. So if
Yep.
prices rise or do whatever they're doing, like people are going to care about that. I do have
Yes.
another question here from Wang. So he says, "Thanks for answering my questions." He was wanting to know how popular in Liquid is Riftbound at card shows. He says the ones I've been to have been 95% Pokemon. How fast does it feel Riftbound has grown from a vending POV?
I think it's grown very fast because I
Yeah,
can tell you my experience
yeah.
in like
Four
doing
months
this in like
ago when we
January,
met.
February, March, April. Yeah, even up to like 4 months ago, I could even tell you I've been at a show. I'm the only Riftbound guy there, and I have
Mm-hmm.
made zero sales the whole weekend, and that did happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like I'm seeing more vendors, more people coming up to me. I think if you were to walk up to me at shows,
You're
I'm basically
swamped.
like I'm swamped with like 3 or 4 different people trying to have, like make deals with me or even just ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
So the demand has definitely gone up for vendors, and the amount of vendors, you know, grabbing these Riftbound products and such has gone up. I think it's growing. It's definitely growing at a rapid rate. Once I'd say a lot of these vendors that I talk to, they have a large supply of signatures that they've sent to PSA 10 or PSA for a while back. They
Yeah.
should be getting it back in the market within the next month or so. And so, just full disclosures, like we're gonna see a lot of PSA 10s coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and much more vendors just offering their Riftbound.
I'm excited for it. It is
Yeah,
definitely an interesting dynamic. Like the two shows I've seen you, I saw you the first time at a Dallas Card Show back in like was it April or May,
yeah, I believe
and
so.
somewhere around there, and we were like the only ones at that booth, and like I think maybe one other person came up to talk to you, and we just talked about Ivern and Riftbound. I got you joining the Discord and all sorts of fun stuff, and that was really when I started to notice my videos started to take off a lot more. It was a small amount at first, but like they started to do a little bit well. I was starting to hit like more consistent views on them. Now it's like I went to, and this was probably like mid June, like late June. No, this was July when I saw you at Houston
Yeah, it was
HTX.
like not
It was
too long
July. It
ago.
was
Yeah.
after July 4th weekend, after the T1 bundle. I was going up to talk to you, and people just kept coming up, and I couldn't even have like a full conversation. It felt like people
Yeah.
just kept coming up, and like they were asking about the Jinx, or like they just even if they weren't buying anything, they were having questions about. Oh, well, that's a cool Jinx Blackblade, bro. That's cool. What's the and so like there's a lot more people just coming in and asking questions. I feel just from an outsider to your POV, and you can obviously relate more to like the official POV because it's your it's your booth. But I feel like it's just growing like crazy. And like I said, I can do it from like an analytical like viewer standpoint of like watching my views like, and I'm cool with opening up. It's like my views have gone from like my Riftbound videos were getting like a couple hundred views to where like now my Riftbound videos when I release them will probably get like over 1,000 views, maybe
Oh, that's amazing.
even more than that. Like I right before Rift Vendetta released, I released like it was Should You Buy Vendetta? That got like almost that's one of my top Riftbound videos ever. I've released like market updates and stuff like that. These continue to get like over 2,000, 3,000 views now as people are clamoring for Riftbound content, and there just really is
Yes.
not there's not a lot of Riftbound content out there. It's like me, Cedo, and there's a couple like newcomers that have reached out to me and like talked to me, and I've like reached out to them and just kind of like given some advice and stuff like that. I think like some of the biggest thing with the Riftbound content is like, and just investing content and just like TCG content in general. There's a lot of thumbnails are really bad. This one I made for this stream is pretty bad. I'm gonna be honest, it's not great. Um, I got home from work and I was making food and then I was trying to like get this stream ready. Um, but like in general, so many thumbnails are so many bad. But if you're good at what you're doing, if you're passionate about it, you can do phenomenal. Like Ollie's doing great with vending here, and then like I'm obviously making content, and the Riftbound stuff is doing phenomenal. So Riftbound is doing great. From like y'all, a lot of y'all are new here joining Riftbound. Riftbound's doing well. You're not the only new person that's joining, is what I would say.
Yes. I still tell people to this day, it's like, hey, you might feel like you're late now because of these new prices. It's
Hmm.
only it's not even been a full year yet. You're still
Yeah,
early.
it
I
has.
tell
I,
everybody,
I
you're
think
still early.
we still haven't even hit like the first like our Origins came out what November of last year, like November 9th, I
Yeah,
think.
we
Like
have we don't even have our
hasn't even
anniversary set out yet.
hasn't even been a full year. Radiance is coming out soon. That's gonna be like a hype set. And then like we said, we're gonna kinda hit like a lull period where like stuff is just kinda doing its own thing for a little bit. And then I think once we hit set 10, I'm hoping set 10's pretty good. I expect it probably will be. and we'll just see where we go from there. I think Shadow of the Isles Set 9 and Set 10 will both be pretty good, so I'm excited. But yeah,
Yes.
we have a long way to go. Studio Collector Sid, anyone else here see the Twice Baked Jake video of him shitting on a Riftbound for having erratas? I did not see that one. I don't know if you've seen it
I didn't
either.
see that video, but
I know you're not
people
a big
talk about.
YouTube guy.
No,
Yeah,
unfortunately, I'm not. But it's like
I know.
I do listen to like because I am a player myself, and
Mhm.
when it comes to erratas, it's just
It
it's
happens.
necessary.
Yeah.
It's if you shit on an errata, I just think you're not necessarily a player because you need erratas. Like look at One Piece, they had printed erratas, right? Bandai did it their way. And then you look at Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Has, ban lists, it has erratas, it
God,
has
Yu-Gi-Oh's a
it,
mess.
it
I used to
it
play
has to.
Yu-Gi-Oh, so
Oh man, it is
it's a.
like, yeah, it's
I used to be a diehard defender of a ban list, and then I realized, oh, ban list is so bad. Just limits so much, like from a player perspective, so much design like aspect.
yes.
Because the Yu-Gi-Oh players, and I have a friend that still plays Yu-Gi-Oh, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, this card's busted." I'm like, "How is it busted?" He's like, "Oh, well, they didn't know, but they released this new set and archetype, and like the card in it combos really well with this card from like 2006 that like was never good, but now it
Yeah.
combos phenomenally with like this because it in its subtext it said that it combos great with like fire type fiends, and this new archetype is fire type fiends, and now this secret rare from 2006 is now like $120 because of four of them, and it's like stuff like that for you. It's just like
Yeah.
so. It's so annoying to have to deal with, and I'm sure it's annoying to play with as well. But does any?
Luckily, Riftbound doesn't
Yeah.
have those type of situations. It's more of like, so Riot has basically set a announcement of like why, like when it comes to bans, the only time they will ban is if they see a deck like a Draven, for example.
Hmm.
If it's eight
It's
out of eight
dominating.
Dravens in a top eight, it is a problem, right? It's an
Yeah.
unhealthy problem.
I wish
That
Pokemon
is
would
when
take that
they
approach.
react. Oh yeah, I know, but
Dragapult, dude.
dude,
Yeah.
I think Pokemon just doesn't necessarily care too much about the player side,
They
which is
they
why,
they
again,
don't.
Riptown's amazing because they actually care about the players. The erratas are. I understand people's frustration where it's like, then you end up having. I've seen the situation where there's an errata and one judge will say one thing and another judge will say another thing about this, and so people get confused, right? Like you could be
Yeah.
playing
I
a
have
very
seen they were
important
trying to
regional
make
game.
that.
Yeah, and I've seen it. People play important regional games. There's a very important ruling that needs to be made on a certain play, and based on how the judge, calls it, one player just could auto win off of the call, right?
Yeah,
But
I think I
luckily,
saw
our
that happen
judges,
once or twice.
they are getting better. So,
Hmm.
I can tell people the judges are, they're human. They are
Yeah.
learning just as, they're learning just like we are. This is a new game. It has a lot of things that need improving for sure, but I can tell everybody it is improving. That's one thing I can say for certain is every single time there's rules updates and stuff, everything's up getting better. It's like the judges are getting more knowledgeable. They're under the quality of judges is getting better. The gameplay is becoming more um, understandable. The only times it gets tough is when you have a brand new mechanic. We have empowered mechanic. I know we're gonna have a lot of confusions. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
That's what I can tell people.
Yeah.
And we need erratas. That's exactly why we need
I
erratas.
think erratas are healthy for just a growing game,
Very
and like
healthy.
especially a new game. Like you're gonna make mistakes. Like they're gonna make wording choices that just
Yeah,
don't make sense because there's the people who design the game are also learning, right? Like they're coming up with stuff
exactly.
as well. So I think erratas are healthy. Wang here had another question. He said, "I don't know if Riftbound has gone to that point, but what cards do you think are overhyped or overvalued, and what cards are maybe undervalued and not valued?" So, for example, he didn't specify if these were in the overvalued or undervalued tier, but he said GG Easy Timo, overnumbered Poros, Chinese New Year Aurelia. Do you want to take this first, or do you want me to take it first?
I could put a little bit of
You guys spit
insight. I
some
would.
ball knowledge here.
Yeah, so I think for the Lunar Revel Aurelia, I think she is one of the most undervalued cards.
Dude, no, you stole
Being
mine. That was mine. That was mine.
see
She's so
her
undervalued, man.
being
Oh.
a PSA 10 between $500 to $600 is just like I have purchased five and I'm still purchasing them in PSA 10 for 500
Mhm.
right now because that just to me I'm just like why is it so low?
If
I think
it's
she's
is
just
it
being
true
overlooked.
there is it true it's only 11,000 total?
Yes, it is
Okay.
true,
I
and I can also
I
tell you.
I hit one of those on
One
Riot, so maybe I hit the T1 bundle.
well, one guy I do know,
Mhm.
he owns, let's just say, four figures of those bundles because he was buying them.
Oh my
He's been
gosh.
buying them
He's just been
since
buying them
like
nonstop.
release. Yeah, he is
Wow.
going. He like I
They were
think
$90
when
at one
Riftbound,
point.
and that's how much he bought them for. So he bought them
Yeah.
direct from the distributors because distributors were funny enough having
From
trouble
China, right?
moving them. Yeah,
In
they were
China?
they were
Yeah.
having trouble selling them. So this guy literally flew out to China and offered, I don't know what, but he basically bought like an
A
absurd
pallet
amount.
or two, a
Basically,
couple pallets, yeah.
he essentially cleared out
He
the.
rooted it. He just bought a bunch of them and just loaded them up.
And so them being at like $100 raw, I'm just like, why? Well, like,
Is
I don't
she
care. I'll
only
buy them.
$100 raw?
I think she's now gone up to maybe
I was
200.
supposed to say 200 sounds about right because I think the overall bundle's like 300 now, which still
Okay, so
seems
yeah, she's
really low if I'm being honest. That's just
yeah. It's just to me the most underrated. Like I would throw like red flags. I'd throw like red alerts. Everything being like, hey guys, this card's undervalued.
it's
You know.
probably like okay, we have the world's bundle and then like we have this T1 bundle that's coming out. Excuse me. Like there's 10,000 of this T1 bundle. You're telling me the Aurelia has 11,000 and it's $100 card or $200 card.
Yeah.
11,000. Like I get a lot. In fact, a lot of them weren't even moved to the United States. Like a good like they did the Riot bundle or whatever, the Riot raffle. And that was the only one I ever saw. A lot of people didn't win. I only won it on the third wave of emails from people not buying theirs, and I got it on the third wave.
Yep. Same here.
And bought. So okay, yeah. So you won it as well. So it's like there was not a lot of people that won those, all things considered. And I bought mine. And I think one of the reasons people didn't buy them was because they probably read the fine print. I just bought mine and then bought it in January, and then was like, wait, why haven't I gotten this yet? And then realized it was a 6-month incubation period, basically where they just took my
Yeah.
money and then just ran with it.
Yep.
So I think that's why a lot of people didn't buy that at the time, just because it's like they had to.
I think.
They basically had to like get them imported from China and like deal with all the logistics
Yeah.
of that, and it was just a nightmare for Riot because they originally made it as a Chinese exclusive, and then they were like, "Oh, let's release some of this in America for some reason," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll take it."
So that's actually why a lot of people didn't buy because a lot
Oh,
of the
is
people
it?
I talked to,
Yeah.
they thought there was going to be an English variant
Mm,
because it was being released in America. And so
gotcha.
people were choosing not to buy because they wanted to wait for the English until Riot said, "No, this is a Chinese exclusive." So then when
It's
that
Chinese New
happened,
Year, yeah.
yeah, so then people were like, "Uh-oh," just like, "Oh crap." And then another thing is this thing has the same gem rate, if not harder gem rate than the World's Bundle Teemo. There's 145 of it already graded with Beckett. No black label. It is a
Wow.
9.7% chance that you just get a Beckett gold 10 of her.
Jeez.
And so she is, I think, by far the absolute hardest card to even hit in a gold 10 or even black label. I think as soon as the first pop comes out, that could go for who knows what, right? Like whoever it is, I
I need
hope
to send you
they
pictures of
they know.
mine.
Yeah.
And it's. I know you're buying them for the most part. Like you're pretty much just paying like you're paying pretty close to market on them if somebody brings them to you, right? Because I know you're
Yeah.
opening them to get the Aurelia, and I know. Did you ever get your gold coin?
No, man. I
Oh,
opened like 25 of those boxes,
oh
and
my
one
god,
it's a 1 in 10 chance, and I'm just like, I guess I'm the unluckiest person when it comes to opening
that's
the
insane.
coins.
That's
So I was just
insane.
like, dang, that sucks. My friend, he opened like 50 and he pulled like 7. I was
I
like,
mean,
must be nice, bro.
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's crazy though. I
yeah,
mean, I definitely think I agreed with you. It's like if I was gonna go undervalued, I was 100% gonna say the Chinese Aurelia. Overvalued, I think for what it
I think it's
is.
GG Easy Timo.
I think GGEC Team. I also think the Poros are a little bit overvalued right now. I
Yes.
do like spreadsheet tracking of them and the prices. When they first released, they were under $400 for the full set. Actually, I think it was like it was like 350 for the full set. Now it's running like 900 for the full set. It's gone up quite a bit, and I get it. Like there's a lot of people who love those Poros and are
Yes.
like excited about them, and they look adorable. They look great in a binder, but it's like I think they're a little bit overpriced for what they are still, and so that's what I would say overvalued in there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
GG Easy
I
Timo also a
could,
little bit too. What do you think about that whole difference between like? Did you see the thing that was it LS
yeah,
put out or Riftbound GG? Somebody put out was like the
yeah,
difference
and
between Wave 1 and Wave 2. I think that was kind of really
So
niche.
I will say, yeah, that exactly what you just said. That's a niche thing.
That's
I
so
personally
niche.
do not care.
I
Um,
could barely tell the difference. Like unless I was
you
staring at
only
it.
you can only tell. So if you guys know Smirk Collector on Twitter, he has both
I
copies,
think I saw that
and
one.
he's a very avid Timo collector. And when it comes to, like, I even reach out to him when it comes to these like more niche things, and he did, like, he confirmed with me that he does see a difference in font. So I can say yes, it is true that there is, a font difference, but I would tell people
Don't
don't
FOMO. Yeah.
don't FOMO. Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't go if someone tells you they have a Wave 1 Timo and you can't really tell a difference, don't buy on that. Just
Yeah.
don't worry about it. I think that's for just like
I just think
the
it's like
hardcore.
it's like a trap, right? Like if you don't
Yeah,
know any better, like if I told you, like if you're not a person who has studied these and can tell the difference in the font without looking at them side by side, and I just hand you one of them and say, "Oh, this is Wave 1." Just please be so careful about that.
yes.
PSA doesn't make the distinction. Beckett doesn't make the distinction. Just like
Exactly.
be so
If you
careful with
want to
that.
get part if you want to do like if you want to have a part in it, I can tell you, when it comes to the Nexus Knight box itself, the Wave 1s were made in Japan, the Wave
I have
2s were
seen
made in
that.
Singapore.
I have seen that.
So if you do want, to essentially collect the Wave 1 versus Wave 2, that is the difference, is where they were made in. Made in Japan, it's Wave 1, made in Singapore, it is Wave 2.
Yeah. I got another question here from Rich. He is asking for thoughts on PSA 10 prize walls right now. Do you think they're worth buying or do you think you should be waiting?
They're actually in a very interesting spot
Hmm.
from what I'm seeing. I think Origins medals in the PSA 10, they should be, in my opinion, liquid, but they're actually, I'm having trouble moving them myself.
Yeah.
It could be that whoever does care, or it is expensive. It
It's
is,
very expensive. Yeah.
you're telling someone to justify paying 25 to 30K on a RE, 18 to 20K on Kaisa, Timo, etc. So I think they are. I do think they're valued where they should be, but they're not moving as well. It's more of just people are moving on to the next medal, right? So
Yeah.
right now, the guys that I talk to, they're no longer asking me about Origins
Origins.
medals. They're asking me, hey, do you have any Aurelias? Do you have any of like set two medals? Essentially, they're asking about Dianas. They want LeBlancs. Everybody wants the newer stuff, which I find very interesting because I think it's also just the availability and the price, because it's more readily available and it's not out of print. The price potential to increase is much higher in those, whereas people think that Origins medals are valued where they should be now, and so in terms of like returns, they're not seeing it as big as, oh, if I grab a LeBlanc now, wait a couple months, she'll skyrocket. Or Aurelia is a good example. LA Regional, that's the last time you're going to be getting a chance to get set two medals. So Aurelia after that is just going to have her big spike, which I think she's still pretty high up there. I think a Raw's people are asking like 4 grand on her. She's kind of
Wow.
doing the RE thing. She's doing the similar RE numbers from what I'm seeing. So we could see her being a $25,000 PSA 10 medal. So if you wanted to get into a medal, either already in a PSA 10 or in a Raw, I would advise grabbing Aurelia's now before LA Regionals, and
Gotcha.
then you can move it after LA Regionals.
There's a couple questions here. CJ, I'll get to yours. Well, yours is more of a statement, but I'll finish out Rich's here. He said, "What do you value medals with no comps?" He said, "I have some set two medals in a 10. I have no idea how to price it."
That's very rough because
Yeah,
I it's really just my advice on all of those. As much as I hate to say it, you're gonna have to become the comp, and I would tell you to auction it.
yeah,
My
probably.
friend, he had a Diana. He was the first Diana medal PSA 10, right? He asked me what he should ask for. I told him it's really good you're the first. It really sucks because you're gonna have to create the comp. I told him he has to throw it into auction. The odds of him really moving it for a high number is low because
Nobody knows what it's
everybody
worth.
everybody has to comp.
Yeah,
When you're looking at prices. So if you're there asking someone, hey, I want 20K on this Diana medal PSA 10, and there's no comps, that person is going to be too scared to purchase it because it could
yeah.
plummet or could skyrocket. Nobody knows.
I was gonna say
So
there's just no basis for like even
right.
justifying it.
So if there's no comp on your metal, my best advice is send it to either like those major auction companies if you want to use them, or just auction it yourself on eBay. And
I'd be careful
you know,
doing that for such an expensive card.
yeah,
I would probably
it,
go
it, it
through a
feels weird,
PSA.
right?
I mean, eBay has some protections, and obviously something that expensive is going to get signature like protections, all that sort of stuff. I would just personally send it into a consignment service.
Yeah,
They just add that extra layer of protection. If there's like somebody's claiming they didn't get it or anything like that, like if you don't sell stuff regularly on eBay and you don't know the pain of like shipping out a card and then the buyer claiming like a $20, $30, $50 card and the buyer claiming they didn't get it, even though you know you sent it, there's no worse feeling because you got to offer a refund or you just got to like fight it. And if you put signature on there or tracking, you can normally fight it. But if you just sent something, like it's pretty difficult. Even then, like some people just do chargebacks, and I would just send it into one of the consignment services and get it auctioned that way.
yeah, I 100% agree.
I think
If you
that's
ever go to any of the shows like CollectCon or DCS, I don't want to advertise anyone's
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Just do your research, see who you like. Each one actually is different from the other because they have to be. So it's just really up to you. Who do you trust? Who do you think makes the most sense to you? And then run it through them. Or you can just wait and
See if there's a conflict
wait.
comes up.
Yeah, wait until somebody else decides to be the comp, right? It's like you're either okay with not moving it because you want to
Eh,
see a comp, or you're okay with being the first comp.
yeah, because being the first has its upsides and downsides. Like if you're the first comp, like you could either be the top of the market for that, or you could be the bottom of the market, right? It just depends.
Yeah,
I think if you have a top tier character, I'd probably want to see what the other comps are. Like if you had like what are some of the set two ones like Aurelia maybe or like Ari, some of
yeah.
the like the top tier maybe that like people would want in metals.
Even Vayne
Vayne,
or
yeah,
no,
like some
not,
of
not Vayne.
those.
Sorry, she's not a legend. Like Fiora or
Fiora, yeah.
anything in there.
Some
Yeah,
some of the ones that are like more popular characters, I'd probably, in my opinion, I would just see like what the first comp is and then go for that.
yeah.
Because it might have a little bit higher chance than say like an Ivern middle card. I keep going back to Ivern, but my boy Ivern, compared to like Ivern, where it's like if you're the first one, you might have a little bit of a premium there than if you're like the second or third comp. So
I could also just advise you to maybe pick up a second one for relatively cheap and then sell the first, so you have two copies. Then you can have a comp on your second one. It's something I like to do. It's just like grab two copies of them. I'm okay with moving one because I have the other. And if it's lower
yeah,
than I would like, at least I have a second one. If it's higher, great, I have a second one. Type of
yeah.
mindset.
I mean, that's always like one of the best like advice you can give is like have multiple available for like
Yep.
personal and like preference. So it's like, oh, I have, always you can get like three copies, one to sell, one to keep, one to grade, do whatever you need to do. So
Yeah.
CJ here, he said he disagrees on the take on the Poros being overvalued. He said he'll be buying a Black Label Lonely Poro and thinks they'll be a staple for a lot of ARM type players. And when they hit the highs, they'll be obvious. I mean, I'm not saying like they're bad in pickups or anything like that. I just think currently, like as of this moment, I think they've jumped up a lot in price. They've more than doubled in price for the set. Now, do I think they are fantastic? Yeah, they look great in a page. That's why when they were $400 or less, when I was doing the market updates when Unleash came out, I was saying the Poros made a lot of sense and they were really, really cool. I was like, no way these Poros stay at like, some of them were like $50. Like, there's no way these stay at $50. So, yeah, I'm not saying
I
they're bad pickups. A Black Label will probably do phenomenally well in the future,
Oh yeah.
but I just like that's what I'm
There's
saying
just
right
so many
now.
available of them.
Yeah,
And
Unleashed is still new. It still hasn't even gotten a reprint yet at this point.
yeah.
I'm just like I'm staying away from the Poros myself personally. I think they had their run up, they had their gains already from people were undervaluing, and then suddenly now it's a little bit too valued. I think they're probably a nice medium is like 700, 800 for the full set compared to like the 800, 900 is. And even that's like what a 12% drop off. Like that's all I think they're overvalued at this point. So I don't think they're a bad buy.
I
And
think
then
also like
oh yeah,
the
yeah.
plundering, the lonely, the reason they're so high is mainly because lonely is a very staple two drop in the meta. So
Oh, is he
that's
actually okay?
why, yeah. So the plundering is a strong staple in blue decks as a two drop. So a lot of people they do wonder why is it like Pouty's 120, but lonely is like so high at 200. It's playability, and so
Oh, that makes sense.
as long as it stays a strong playable card in the meta, it'll stay around that price because players that love to max rarity. Once you find better 2 drops, once they release them more, it should come down, hopefully. I do hope it comes down for people that,
I want to collect it.
want it, but I feel like they will stay around these prices for a while, just because for me, even at these prices, people are willing to buy.
Yeah, I was
So
about to say.
to me as a vendor, it's like they're extremely liquid. I can't keep them for more than a single day.
Yeah, and that's where I was saying, like, I think they're overvalued by like 12%, like 12-15%. I don't think they're like, oh, they should drop back down to 400. I think 400 was way underpriced where they should have been. So yeah, I think
Yes,
poros are great. I think poros
that
are
was like
great.
discount days right there.
Yeah. All right. Thoughts on grading SIGs and grading companies? We've talked a little bit about that, Kuzo. Beckett is probably your first option unless it's like a really, really bad copy of a signature.
Yep.
Like it just is like in bad condition. And when I say bad condition, I just mean it's not gonna get a like top tier grade at Beckett. Send it to Beckett. We were talking about GCS, which is card review service with Beckett. If you get like GCR, sorry, yeah. Do that if you get like 9.5s, 10s, things like that. You can kind of like have them review it. So we like Beckett. We didn't really like any of the other ones besides Beckett and PSA. A lot of the other grading services just don't hold the value that you'd probably be looking for. So ask any woman which poro is by far the best poro. They will say lonely. I mean, it's a little subjective, or I guess maybe a little objective. I don't know if I'm using the right terms there. I definitely think there's, I've talked to quite a few women that enjoy the poros. My girlfriend, her friends. There's quite a few women that play League of Legends that I know. And I don't think they really have like an exact preference on like one. I definitely would say you're probably right that lonely is probably their favorite because it's like, oh, he's so sad, he's like a dog or whatever. But like they want the whole set. They'll be like, oh, I want them all because they look adorable. So I wouldn't put too much like pressure and all my chips in onto one single poro. That's me personally. Again, I don't know. Maybe they go to the lonely one specifically runs up to 400. I don't know. Beckett 9.5 would hurt. Yeah, Beckett 9.5 does hurt, but that's where like the GCR.
There's workarounds.
Yeah, GCR. If you have 9.5s, like if you get, we were talking about it, like if you get a couple different subgrades, like surface and centering, like those are normally the ones that Ollie here was saying, like those are usually the ones that you can send it back, have them look at it, and they could change the grade. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say if it's 9.5, if you want to be safe, right? You just want to be like, okay, you know what, forget it. I would say throw it to PSA. The odds of you getting the PSA 10 is extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
If you truly think, hey, this deserves a 10 or even like a black label, I would say crack it out and then just resub it into them.
I agree. Rich says, do you think, given how hard it is to hit an over number as the game progresses, eventually the floor for even trash over numbers won't be under $100? So basically every over number will be over 100.
I don't think so. I think it's just really people and their tastes, right, and their preferability. It's a collector's mindset. Not everybody is going to be wanting a overnumbered rumble, and so there will be over numbers that are less than 100, and they should stay, relatively under 100. It'll just depend on the character.
I agree.
And what's coming out for the character. Maybe like there's a cool new Rumble signature that comes out in the future, but even then, he's just a really niche character overall. So, Rumble fans, they wouldn't. There's not enough to force him to be like over $100, $150 and such. So there will be characters, there will be over numbers that'll be less than 100 and stay less than 100 for quite a while. I can't guarantee 5-10 years down the line, but quite a decent amount of time they'll stay under the $100 range.
Yeah, I think it also it comes to the set. Like when we get sets like Legacy, which is supposed to be like 93 showcases, like I could see even the bad cards in there maybe being over $100 just because there's so many showcases. Well, but even then, I say that, like, are we only talking like the over numbers of like characters? Because like I said, in Legacy, I think they confirmed that they're coming out with Battlefields, right? Like Battlefields are getting over numbers, and some of like the other playable cards, like Spirit Forge, has a bunch of playable over numbers. So it's like, are we just talking like do I think the let's say like or oh what is it set 6? I can't remember the name now. Was it Legacy? I think that was the name of it. Like when that set comes out, maybe all the character ones are over $100 because there's a lot of like lower tier playable ones over numbers that like people don't care about, and those are the like bad cards of the set versus like the characters hold up a little bit more. But even then, we see like Spirit Forged has a lot of over numbers, and a lot of them are still like they're pulling a specific card in Spirit Forge. That's why the Ari is like $600-$700 in
Yep.
just the base rarity, because there's like 20 something over numbers in there. Now imagine a set with like 60 over numbers. We,
Yeah,
we, we, we
exactly.
could we could see some hitting over, like even the bad ones hitting over 100, and like the playables are the cheap ones. And just we'll have to see what the market takes for that. So
And
I
I do
gotta.
see people, they do prefer the champion overnumbered over their leader
Oh
overnumbered
yeah.
from just like what I've had people buy from me as a vendor. There's still demand on the leaders, but it's like typically you want 3 copies or maybe even 2 copies of the champion.
Mhm.
And there has only been set 2 that has champion overnumbers. I think
Yeah.
set 5 will be champion overnumbers, so that'll let us know, it's like, in terms of just desirability.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're still the game's still too new to know where like kind of this sort of stuff shakes out
Yeah,
basically. So,
definitely.
all right, we got Cuzzo here. He says he's got a line on the back of his card, only seeable when a light is shown on it. Kind of scared to send it in. It's a Lee Sin signature, vertical line. I've heard it's be a factory print line. If it's visible to you,
Yeah,
it's probably visible to the Beckett. That's probably one you send to PSA instead.
I
I'm
I I would just say, yeah, factory lines, they're just so risky.
yeah.
I would tell people, just if you want to take the chance, you can take the chance, but I would just say that the odds of it hitting a PSA 10, it's not very likely. I think any
Oh
PSA
wow.
9 I've seen, and I've seen, like, I think I have actually have a someone that sold me their Leona Sig PSA 9,
Hmm.
and it's because it had a factory line error on the
Ooh.
back.
Okay. Well, that's good
So
to know.
they do look at those. I think PSA looks at it less, so you could, you know,
Kind of
I
sneak it
could always
in.
tell you, yeah, you can get away with it, but that's, just how much risk you're willing to take. I would tell you it's a 50-50 at that point.
Yeah. So fair enough. All right. Do you think with how positive EV it is to rip cases, we see a gigantic migration of vendors similar to how Pokemon did to One Piece, but now One Piece to Pokemon? Right now, the top chase value is crazy. I'll let you take this one if you're down.
So what was like the question? Just
Oh
like
yeah,
ripping?
yeah. Do you think with how positive the EV it is to rip cases, do we think we see a giant migration of vendors ripping Riftbound cases, basically, because the top chases
We
are so
actually already are.
okay?
I've seen a lot of vendors that have never touched Riftbound. They are basically going to they have access to distributors that they buy their Pokemon and other things from, and now they're also picking up all the Riftbound the distributor would have. Their stores that they are loyal with, they're picking up all the Riftbound and ripping it. I have, some good friends. Yes, they do Pokemon, and they have ripped more cases of Vendetta than even I could, because they have years of, connections. So they got first access to Vendetta. One of them, he picked up 15 cases of Riftbound Vendetta, never touched Riftbound, and now he's, ripping the crap out of it, because, yeah, the positive EV just makes too much sense to him
Especially at
to
MSRP.
at MSRP, exactly, and he's probably getting it for less. And so, yes, there is a large amount of vendors that are just ripping. That's why it's hard when you go to shows. The odds of finding sealed, it's it's actually relatively harder than it is to find the
Pokemon
singles,
sealed
because
or
anyone who does have, I was at LA CollectCon, and the guys that did have sealed on Friday, this is Friday when only vendors are there setting up,
mhm.
vendors were buying every Vendetta case they could from other vendors that didn't decide to rip, and ripping it right there. So they were all ripping on Friday
Wow,
to have
just to
to
have the
have
singles.
product for Saturday, exactly. And then once Saturday did hit, and there was very few vendors left with, the cases. Obviously, they're asking for like 900 or 950 per case, which was above the market at the time. So,
Yeah,
um, unfortunately, we are seeing that. I wouldn't say unfortunately, but yeah, we are seeing that.
honestly, I think it's just like it's a common switch. I mean, I've ripped, oh God, I've ripped so much, and like I've opened boxes like Origins at MSRP. If you get it, it's just free money if you rip it.
Yeah.
Like it makes
Yep.
so much sense because the playable. Like I opened a bad box of Origins. Uh, both my Origins boxes I won in the raffle for the most recent one for the Origins reprint.
Oh, don't tell me about that. I got cooked so hard on both of mine.
Bro, well, one I was gonna keep them sealed. They both came absolutely ripped, which pissed me off because both Unleashed boxes I ordered with them both came completely fine, but both the Origins boxes have giant rips through. I'm like, how? And so I opened them. The first one came out pretty fine. There was like a decent amount of playables. Probably made a decent amount of money. The second one was like one of the worst boxes of Origins I've ever opened, and even then, I think I broke even to maybe even lost like $10 or $12. Like, it's
Oof.
like, I'm not gonna keep like it. I would have loved to keep it, but it had such a big tear in it that I was like, I can't really ever sell this in the future. So
Yeah.
it makes sense to open EV. Obviously, Vendetta doesn't have as many playables, and same for Unleashed, but like still the positive EV if you hit one of those signatures, especially out of a case, which are cases seeded? Like, do they like One Piece? Are they guaranteed like like one over number at least?
Yes, so
Okay.
Origins, it's seeded and varied as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not exact like it's not an exact position, but it is like your chance of you get for set one to two over numbers per case.
Mm-hmm.
And Spearforge, this is the reason why I tell everybody to just rip all of their Spearforge, is the average overnumbered hit is 3 to 4 per case. It's what it is
Oh
the
yeah, it
highest.
was the high. It was the highest. It was one out of two boxes. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So it is like
that's what I
if you
remember
find a
seeing.
loose box of Spearforge at like Micro Center or like anywhere else, the odds of you pulling an overnumbered is relatively high compared to the other sets. Set three, it's
It's
zero to
brutal,
three on
bro.
average,
I've
and
opened
then
6 boxes of that and haven't pulled anything.
yeah, set three is like painful. Set four is still an interesting one. It is 0 to 2 overnumbered, but it's still just like my perspective possibly, but I am noticing more people pulling SIGs out of set four
I've noticed
than I've
that as
seen
well.
in previous sets. But when I look at TCG Player and I see the amount of listings, it doesn't correlate to, oh, there's a lot of these available. So
I think it's
it could
a.
just be more people are just announcing, right? There's more
Mhm.
there's more content creators that are
That's what I
showing it
think it
off.
is.
So it's like we're seeing more, but only because back then it was players and they didn't really care to announce it. Now it's like more people want to announce, "Hey, I pulled a sig, I pulled a sig, I pulled a sig," etc.
I was supposed to, I think it's like social media syndrome where it's like you're only
Exactly.
gonna see the like it's like gambling like when you're only gonna see the big hits on a sports betting like the sports
Yep.
bettors are only ever gonna post their wins and never gonna post their losses. So it's like it feels like there's a lot more being pulled, but I don't think it's actually all that different. I think it is pretty similar. I only opened one box. I have another box that we're gonna open here in about 10 days for my girlfriend's birthday, so that'll be really fun. We have another Vendetta box.
Nice.
My LGS, like my actual LGS I go to on a regular basis, not the different LGS, obviously. But my actual LGS, love that dude. Like I'm one of his Riftbound guys. He picks up Riftbound, sells it, doesn't care the set, doesn't care that. He's like, I'll sell it to you at MSRP. And I bought every set. I bought Unleashed when it was under MSRP from him for MSRP because I want to support his shop, which I think all of y'all should do. If you have a good shop, support them. Uh,
Yes,
he
and they'll
I
support you back.
I was gonna say he's supported me forever. I've been going to him for the past 2 years. I'll probably continue to go to his stuff whenever I can. Like I go every week to play Pokemon locals over there. Whenever we get the Riftbound in, I buy my 2 boxes from him because he only gets he's a small shop, so he only gets like one case of Riftbound, and it's like my girlfriend and I both get a box, and then he has to put the rest aside for like the few other people that get Riftbound. But yeah, it's I love supporting it, and it's like so I have one box I'm gonna open, and then yeah, another box
I
I'm
think the
holding onto
odds
just for
are
like.
relatively good because I guess from personal experience, I was able to rip 2 cases.
Mhm.
My friend ripped another case, and then my other friend ripped a case. All 4 of them had SIGs in it. So my two
Jeez.
cases, I pulled a Jace signature
Oh, that's
and an
sick.
Abesta signature. And then my friend, he pulled the Zed signature, which I bought from right away because I'm a Zed main. I needed it. And then another friend, he pulled Ken and Sig. And then a couple shop owners that I know, they got like 6 cases in. They decided to rip all 6. Like this is another thing. Some of these shops, they're they see the positive EV in ripping, so they're just
They're
decided to
just
rip their
opening them
product.
as well. Yeah.
selling, and the one guy I talked to, out of his 6 cases, 4 had SIGs inside of them. So it's like
Dang.
it feels like it, you know. It just feels like it's pretty easy to hit. But again, I don't want to tell people, oh, it is, and then it's really not. So
Yeah,
it's just weird. It's very, very weird.
I agree. All right. We got. I'll probably go for another like if you're cool, Ali. Ali, another like 10 minutes or so. If that works
Yeah,
for you,
that's fine.
we'll take a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
more questions. It looks like Rich has another one here. He said, For people not good at grading, what should be the bare minimum criteria for a card to be submitted to BGS? Like price centering. I mean, you could probably answer this better than I could because you've gotten good grades, but I mean, I have like my criteria for what I would say. So I'll let you answer yours.
If you're new to grading, first thing I would say is if you're gonna decide to go with Beckett, you have to. It's kind of like training a muscle. You have
Mm-hmm.
to kind of
Know what to
just
look for.
learn. And so my advice is because of those 4 subgrades, just look at the edges of your card, front and back. Make sure you don't see any whitening. And I mean like any.
None.
If you see even the smallest speck, it's no longer going to be a Beckett 10. Um, Look at the corners, same thing, right? Just look for any sort of whitening, lifting, even the smallest thing that can put doubt, like, hey, this looks like a very small speck of whitening. They will hit you 9.5. Like people think that, oh, maybe I can get away with it. You
No.
won't get away with it.
They look at that
Uh,
tight.
Surface, I would say just make sure there's no scratches that can't be cleaned up, and there's nothing there that's noticeable like smudges. Riftbound card, the back is dark, so even your thumbprint can be on there. And so if you are going to submit it, just you know clean it up with a microfiber cloth or a Q-tip.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of all that dust. Immediately put in a fresh sleeve and a card saver, and then I I guess what I do is I microfiber cloth, the front and back, very lightly, not too much pressure. Put in the sleeve, put in the card saver, and then I wrap it in a team bag so no more dust can get inside at all.
I like doing
And
that with the team bags as well.
yes, and then centering wise, it's really tough for the front for a lot of people. That's just you're gonna have to train, at least for top to bottom centering. But the back is, at least make sure the back is perfectly centered. I would tell people it's like, as long if your back is like perfectly centered, you should be fine. So just make sure the borders aren't too far apart from each other, and then best case is just submit some. Once you get it back, you want to, instead of thinking like, oh, what, like, instead of being upset at your grade, you should look at it like figure out why they gave you what they gave you. So when I started, I would get like nines or 9.5s, and I would wonder, well, why did I get this? And so I'd look at the card even more, and I'd be like, oh dang, I didn't notice this little
Spec.
smudge or
Yeah.
this little speck, and it helped me get better and better. So that's my advice when you go through Beckett. When you go through PSA, I hate to tell people, but it's relatively easy. Just make sure it's
It's
centered
not beat
well.
up.
Yeah, it's just as long as it doesn't look like it got completely destroyed, and if it's not horrendously off centered, and you'll know if it's horrendously off centered, you can just send it to PSA. And if you want to be safe, you can get the PSA 10. But I truly think Beckett is where it's going to be at in the future.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think everyone should be, whether it's a Pokemon card or like, I think the Black Label just commands such a premium that
Yes.
for every top tier chase, whether it's Pokemon, One Piece, Riftbound, Larcana, whatever it is, you should be highly, highly, highly like inspecting the card and then deciding what you're gonna do with it. If it's like this card is like insanely nice, it's perfect, it's centered, it looks nice, send it into Beckett. Worst case, you can just resubmit it. Obviously, I know value just closed, but they're reopening it here in like a month. We'll see if that holds. But if they reopen it, just submit it at value. You don't have to submit it at Express or anything like that for a lot of these things. If you're submitting a signature, I'd probably go ahead and just submit it at like I think they have a $60 tier. I mean, I would just for the insurance purposes probably submit it at some of
Yeah.
those higher tiers. And you just get it back quicker too. But yeah, I mean PSA again, obviously Pokemon's a little bit different, but I'm already like super strict on what I send to PSA with my Pokemon cards. Like I will like full on like if I see like a speck or two of whitening, like I'll look at all the corners of my Pokemon cards. If I see even a speck of white, I don't even like bother sending a Pokemon card into PSA. So you kind of have to be like that, but for Beckett, like, and obviously
Yeah.
Beckett's the same way. Now most Riftbound and One Piece cards are going to get 10s at PSA. It's just like the gem rate is super high. They grade it a lot nicer. But you just got to be on the lookout for that sort of stuff. So
and just a QC, right? Quality control, right, does a pretty good job at QC on their cards. Maybe a little questionable with set 3-4, but
Yeah,
still, it's pretty decent.
yeah. There was a vendor who sent 100 cards to BGS after paying one of those microscope people to pre-grade, and he got 0 black labels. Yeah, I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't pay anyone to look like inspect. I think that's like I don't know. I
That's
think
all
it's a
subjective.
yeah, it's subjective, and it's also like I feel like it's a waste of money. Like I'd rather like the money you spent to get somebody to pre-grade your cards to then send to Beckett. You could have just like saved that money to like let's say you have 100 cards, right? Let's send it. You're sending them all value tier. $20 was that $2,000. Let's say instead of spending that extra $20 on each card to get pre-graded, you could then send that, take that $20, and regrade the ones that don't grade like a 10 plus, right? I'd rather do that than send it into pre-grade, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like
And then
that's
also just hitting black labels. I'll say it again. It's like
it's not easy.
it's not easy. It's
No,
really not easy.
we were talking about Soraka being easy at 10%. It's like
Yeah. So it's even you send like 100 cards. What I can say is if you send multiples of the same card, it there is like a possibility that it is easier
it boosts your
because they
chances
have
a little bit.
more cards to compare.
Hmm.
But like that's another thing. They need enough cards that they've graded to understand what they're looking for in a black label, right? Like if they looked at like 20 of his card and they're like, okay, this looks like the most centered card we've seen out of the 20, we'll give this one the black label. That's kind of where they go. And the way their structure is when they do determine is like your grader is going to say, I think this is a black label, so it has to go to a senior grader, and then senior grader is going to then do a double check and decide at that point whether it can or cannot be a black label. And so
Cool.
it has to go through two graders just to be allowed. I think people speculated that it's a unanimous vote between three senior graders, but from what I know, there's only one senior grader at Beckett at the moment.
I'll say it would be 3 seems a little bit much, so I don't know if I'd like.
And they only have the one, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know how their employment is, but I'm pretty sure there's running with one senior grader at the moment. I could be wrong, but it is, yeah, like it has to go through multiple people just to be even, passed through. So your normal grader, your junior grader is not going to be able to give you a black label like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say he can't be the final call. It has to be the senior. But
Yes.
all right, any final questions before we go ahead and start wrapping this up here? I mean, it's been great to have you on. Like, this is the first interview I've been able to do. I appreciate everyone who's stayed through here. I hope y'all learned something. Like I said, if you have any final questions here before we go, it's been a pleasure having you, man. So, oh, looks
Yeah,
like
no, thank
we
you so much for inviting me.
yeah, I was about to say, I'm just glad we caught a time because this is like my last week before I go to like night shifts again. So I'm gonna be like not able to stream for a little bit. Or I might stream on like the occasional weekend, but and I'm sure you're about to get busy with like school and shows starting back up. So I know it's a
Yes.
crazy time of year for a lot of people, but
Yeah. So many shows.
no, yeah. So Rich says if you can't see the flaws unless it's looked at with under a microscope, should you abandon the ship and still submit, or if you can't see it with the naked eye under a certain lane? I don't think you need a microscope. I'm sure you don't submit stuff under a microscope.
No, you don't really
Yeah,
need a microscope. You just have
yeah,
to. I tell people the same thing always. Is just you need to trust the process. Um, just with your naked eye, look at the edges, look at the corners, make sure they're good, and then make sure your centering looks, really good, and just trust the process at that point. Just send it in. The odds of you getting a black label like off the rip on a
yeah.
raw, just don't have expectations. But if you get a Becca 10 and your surface hits a 9.5, I would advise you to just resubmit it to them as a
Until you get the
graded
black
card
label.
review until hopefully. And I tell people go up to like however many times you're comfortable with GCRing before you give up. Me, I've done it 7 times. I would not advise that. I would tell people at the
3.
maximum 3, because
Yeah.
the first time you send the review, they're going to tell you why that you didn't get it if you didn't get it, and then you just have to go, get a flashlight or black light, look at that spot that they circled on the notes, and just, do you see it? Essentially, right? You don't see it, send it again a second time. If they circle the same spot, just really look at it again. Most of the time, if they circle the same spot for me, I give up because they're seeing something that I just cannot see,
Yeah. And
and
it's the same.
it's
It's like the same thing from different graders that's in the same spot. So
exactly, yes. But once they circle a different spot, you're it's the odds of you,
Yeah, it's
hopefully
like
getting
it's just
another.
you just need the one person to not see anything. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Quite simply, yeah.
I agree. All right, well that's probably gonna do it here. We're hitting 3.5 hours. This is a long stream. I appreciate everyone coming in. Guys, please go check out his website. Link is in the description. BilgeWater Market. He's got tons of Riftbound stuff. You can look at his last sales here. He has inventory. If you're wanting to pick up any of these higher end cards, go ahead and he'll pick them up. I don't know if you ship. Do you ship? Is that a thing you
Yeah,
do?
I do ship.
Okay, so he'll ship these
Yes.
to you if you want to pick up any of these. Go check him out. I appreciate him being on the stream today. We had a great stream, guys. I appreciate all y'all. Any last words? Anything you want to plug before we go ahead and get on out of here? I kind of plugged your store for you, but if there's anything you want to plug,
No, I just say, thanks for having me. I had a great time just,
yeah,
talking
exactly.
and just
I did
everything. And
too.
I tell people, yeah, you guys are still early, so I'd say, you know, buy what you like, have fun with it. I
Hmm.
think we're all gonna be happy.
Agreed. I was about to say I don't get to talk to you like this at shows. By the way, last thing? What is your next show again? It's going to be San Antonio Collecticon, correct?
Yeah, so the rest of the year is pretty packed. So it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio Collecticon, Dallas Card Show in Houston, Singapore regionals, LA regionals, and then I'm gonna try and go to pretty much every Collecticon I can, and
Yeah.
then a lot of like NTX also. I forgot.
Gotcha. Well, guys, if you're in Dallas area, especially, make sure to check him out at any of these shows. Especially if you love Riftbound, he's gonna have the top tier stuff. But that's gonna be it. Appreciate y'all staying. I appreciate you, Ollie, for stopping in, and I think that's gonna be it. Take care, guys. If you have any questions, he's in Discord. I'm in Discord. Join the Discord link. It should be also in the description there. But that's gonna be it. Peace, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.